All right, that's our weird intro for the day. Welcome to the live. I felt like we had to do some sort of tribute to Olivia Newton-John today because we lost her this week. And for many of us in the age group that I'm in, and some people older than me and some people younger than me, Olivia Newton-John was a fixture. The movie Grease was a huge part of my growing up. And then I found out it's Amanda Willis's all-time favorite movie. So I thought, well, we better do something from Greece then. And then I heard this is not the song that impacted John. So John, tell us your Olivia Newton-John story.
Oh, I don't have a bad story about it. I went to a daycare center after school. It's like a Christian church daycare center where I would get stuck from age 3rd to 5th grade every day after school. And there was a record player there, and there was one record, and it was Olivia Newton-John, whatever record that had Let's Get Physical on it. So I didn't dislike it at all, but I heard it every single day for 3 years.
Yeah, that song reminds me of a 1980s, early 80s aerobics class.
Yeah, well, that's what she was dressed as on the cover of the album.
Yeah, we really dressed like that, guys, in our aerobics with the headband and the leg warmers. Yep,
well,
that was the thing.
You did. You still do.
I was gonna say
I still do. Yeah. Well, why spoil perfection?
Bringing it back.
Yeah,
whatever works. You just need a perm now.
Now I'm gonna have to wear a headband and leg warmers when I sing at Self-Reliance Festival. All right. Do you have an Olivia Newton-John story?
I was just a little before my time. Not much, but I remember her. But you know,
are you saying we're old?
No, I didn't want to. I knew you were going to ask me that, and then I was going to look like a dick. And no,
What did she die of?
Cancer.
Okay.
Yeah. She had breast cancer, I think, in her 40s, and she was 73, and just the cancer came back, I guess, around 2013. So she's been battling it, but for me, it was kind of a weird, like I'm at the age where things I watched as a child, people from that era are dying. And as a child of the 80s, I saw a lot of things that may have been earlier, like a lot of Star Trek, those sorts of things, So Captain Kirk hasn't left us yet, but it's going to happen.
He's in his 90s. And he doesn't look like it. Like,
didn't Spock die? The actor who played Spock?
Yeah. Leonard Nimoy's been gone a while.
Yeah, I always forget their names.
That's all right. Used to be a big Trekkie years ago.
I was too, but I didn't remember. I know their characters, not their names.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, well, we're here today to talk about busting your balls. That's basically the topic. If anybody read the promo for this show, it's come on and find out about why your excuse ain't an excuse. Because Toolman Tim is a man who has built the life he wants to live. He's built a great income by doing it, not by investing thousands of dollars into buying a business or into a pyramid marketing scheme or any of that crap. So Tim, can you just tell us a bit about like how you got from crap, there's no money in my bank account, I got to do something and I don't want to work for the man to here?
Yes, I'll try to do it in under 3 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, we spent a lot of time broke as a joke. I always worked for the man and I was always miserable. And on more than one occasion, I walked away from a job with zero notice because I was so burnt out. And I know it's not the thing to do. Don't follow what I did, but I did. So yeah, started a business as a handyman, which was really, hey, I will do anything for money short of, certain favors. And so I started that and it failed miserably. I wouldn't say it failed. I just didn't know what I was doing when I first started. So I thought, well, let's go back and start working again. So I went back and started working at a hardware store. Spent 1 year working there, spent that full year making contacts, working day and night. So, before work, after work, lunch break, clearing snow, whatever it took. Had about a year in. And again, I walked away from that job. Give him a little bit of notice this time, but that was it. So I basically built what is now a property management business, started as a handyman business, just pulling ads off Facebook. Anything anybody was looking for, I'd do it. I cleaned cars. I shoveled dog shit. I climbed up on roofs and inspected chimney. Whatever somebody wanted, I would basically do. And then I started, as I get going, picking up more and more work, finding the things I really like to do. And then I started focusing on the things that made me the most money for the least amount of work. Got got it built up. Now I have around 40 units that I look after for property management, which is a big portion. We have around 40 properties we do snow removal for in the wintertime, which is a huge portion of my income. Then we took a lot of the money that we made from this business, launched my wife's daycare business, which I have to shout them out because they are buying the building they are in this week. It is a big fucking deal. Can I say that? Sorry. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I am so proud of her. Yeah. Oh, there. Yeah. It's a big fucking deal. So we put, like, I didn't know if we were going to sink or swim, but I knew that I was going to make it work, and we did. And yeah, it just kept going and going. And we're in a way, way better place than we were 5 years ago, and a hell of a lot better than we were 10 years ago.
And what did it take for you to do that? Because when I promoted the show, I started it with the following quote: "The world is ending. I can't fix my plumbing. I'm stuck in a job I hate." And it's like, okay, let's talk about how not to be this asshole.
Yes. So, you know what? Okay. I always say that abject poverty is one of the best motivators in the world. And we bought our own house years ago and had zero money to fix anything. So it was either deal with a septic line that was completely collapsed, or rent a tractor, dig my own hole, and build my own septic system, which I totally didn't do, although I'm sure the statute of limitations is past now. So it was a matter of just learning. You know, my ass hung out second story windows, installing insert windows I'd never done before. I talked to people. I asked them how to do this because I had no money to hire anyone. You know, siding last year, I had never done siding before. I sided my entire house. Did I have one piece of siding blow off in the wind? Yeah, I did. And I fixed it, and I'm better for it. Right. You know, decks, I built decks, all of that. And it all started from not knowing how to do something, not having the money to hire a guy, and figuring it out. You know, if you go in your basement and you've got a gushing pipe in your basement that water's flying out and you don't know what to do, first thing you do is go over and shut your water off. Then you've bought yourself some time. Then you go on YouTube and you look, what can I do? And then, you know, I mean, it might be as simple as cutting up an old bike tire, take the inner tube, wrap it around and put 2 pipe clamps on it and getting you through till Monday morning. But don't be scared to do it. That's the thing. So many people are just like, I think I'm going to kill someone. No, you know, maybe electrical. I was always told, you know, if you give somebody bad plumbing advice, they'll have wet feet. If you give them bad electrical advice, they might die. So you want to be careful. But other than electrical, experiment with anything. You're not gonna make it worse. If you've got fucking water coming all over your basement, you're not going to make it worse by trying to fix it. So start there, and it's okay to be scared. Man, I was insecure about doing this stuff for a long time, but I learned as I went, and you build up some confidence as you go.
Yeah, I had to learn a lot of things because I bought my first home, and in order to get that done, had no cushion.
Right. Yeah.
And then my water heater broke. Like week 1, water heater breaks. My best friend drives me to Home Depot, says, "I'm buying you a water heater. I'm showing you how to put it in." And that was plumbing and electrical. And that was sort of like, it removed all barriers or fears of fixing stuff or trying to fix stuff, because it was, I mean, it's relatively easy. The hard part about a water heater is that they're heavy, especially if you have one full of rust. But other than that, it's like wire, pipe, done. And, you know, that might take you longer if you've never done it before, but I became fearless. I ended up having to rewire that whole house. So
troubleshooting. Once you learn the skill of troubleshooting, you can apply it to anything. I got a call 2 nights ago. Dishwasher was leaking all over the floor at a third floor apartment. The lady, I said, "Okay, is it leaking that you can't shut it off, or did it slow down?" She said, "Yep, it slowed down and then it shut off." So I said, "Okay, good. Just put towels down. I'll come by tomorrow morning," because it's almost 10 o'clock at night. And so she did. I went in, and you look at the obvious. If water's coming out, you look where the water comes in, find out where it was. I tracked it down. I followed it, and I just followed the hose up. And I'd never fixed a dishwasher like that before, but the hose had over maybe 10 years vibrated off the supply end, and it was just gushing out on the floor. So I put them back on, a couple of hose clamps later, put everything in. But just take your time, look at where the problem is, and then trace it back to see what's causing it, and then see what you can do to fix it. Each time you do it, you'll get a little better. If that makes sense, for sure.
Yep. Okay, we got a question. What are some regular semi-collapse, full-blown collapse business ideals?
You're talking about this last night on Live Feed.
Yeah, you were. I dropped in for a few minutes. So I would say anything. I don't want to say anything, but I mean, you can live wherever you want to live in the mindset that something's going to collapse or something's going to, but I think you need to build the best life you can build right now that makes you the most money and invest it in whatever you can. But I mean, I'm obviously partial to being a handyman because, you know, what better skills in a post-apocalyptic setting would there be than a handyman, or maybe a doctor, of course, but anything low investment up front is great. I always tell people, walk in your garage, do a 360-degree circle, see what you have. Do you have a ladder? Well, then you can go clean people's gutters. You know, do you have a pressure washer? Then you can go wash off people's decks. Whatever you already have, figure out a way to start making money. Even if you don't want to do that, figure out a way to start making money with what you have and then invest it to build what you really want.
Yeah, it's interesting how that question is framed because the answer is I don't know, because I don't know what collapse means.
Right.
Right. Collapse can mean anything. We can collapse in so many ways. There's a way we think we might be collapsing right now, but we don't know how that's going to play out. I think the most important thing to do now is develop resilience, develop your creativity, develop the ability to identify opportunities and take advantage of that, and learn how to take care of yourself and your family and tap into your community, because that's where the strength is. And then whatever happens, you can figure out the what, because is it how to make money through collapse, or is it how to not starve to death? Like, what is your goal there? But if you build something for a collapse that never happens, you can invest a lot into something that's completely useless.
What I hear with that, and I think I know what he meant when he said collapse. But what I hear is, hey, I have this job that I'm too comfortable at, or you typically hear, I can't leave my job because of insurance or 401k or whatever it is, right? And you don't want to do that job, but you want society to collapse so that that job goes away, right? So what can you do on the weekends as a side hustle? And I don't even like the word side hustle. It's just what can you do on the weekends that fucking makes you money, right? So go make money on the weekends and find out what you like doing. And bonus, if you're working 5 days a week, what do you spend your money on, right? What's your hobby? So if you can develop that into making money and into a normal income, then you're never going to hate going to work. I don't ever wake up in the morning and go, shit, I got to go to work. It hasn't happened in 30 years. I haven't ever thought that, because when I was working bullshit jobs, I was spending my money to buy material and buy sewing machines and build this stuff. When I'm skiing, I'm thinking the whole time I'm on the snow, I need to make these straps that hold my skis back to back so that I can carry my skis easier. When I'm diving out in La Jolla Cove or anywhere in San Diego, I'm underwater and I'm thinking, man, I would really like to put a Camelback on the side of my steel cylinder so that I can hydrate my mouth while underwater so it's not so dry, right? So everything I did was to do that. That was always the thing that was there at the end or during. So what is that for you? What does that look like? And if, society collapses, people are going to need things. Like, what's the service? Like right now, I'll pay a dude $100 to show up here today and come pull weeds out of my gravel. You don't even have to go out in the bushes or anything. Just pull weeds out of my gravel, pull them out with the roots, fill the wheelbarrow up, $100. You can work as long as you want. And when the dude shows up and does a fucking awesome job, I will give him $200 for it. And it just rained here. It rained yesterday, so they come out easy. I literally pulled 100 pounds. I pulled a wheelbarrow full that I had 3 times the amount of the size of the wheelbarrow in there in 30 minutes just yesterday. So, I mean, just you have to find people that don't want to do things and then do them and then negotiate what is that price cost? What is that? There is work everywhere. You just have to go find that work. You just have to, or even go to a place. Like if I was going to be the weed guy, I'd go to a place where there's gravel and there's weeds all through it. And I'd take an 8x8 section and I would strip that thing clean. And I'd go find the dude that owns the property and goes, hey, come check this out. I will make this look like this for $100. I'll do the rest of this. Like I've done it for free. This is the example of what it could look like. And always give a little more value. And number one, do what you say you're going to do, plus a little more, and always do it when you say you're going to do it.
Yep. That's something that, I feel like when I moved from the West Coast to Tennessee, there was a whole lot more not show up factor here. Did you have that experience, John?
Oh, it's hugely. Like when I was moving to Tennessee, we were at a big auto shop this guy we know owned. And he said, so you're moving to Tennessee. He goes, you're about to find out what Tennessee time is. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, people don't have, there's no urgency to do anything. There's no urgency to get things done. We had a guy come in here to do tile in the bathroom in the shower. And he's like, okay, I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll quote it and we'll be back with some final numbers in 2 weeks. I'm like, what do you mean 2 weeks? Why 2 weeks? Well, Christmas is coming up. So you need 2 weeks off to go for Christmas or whatever. And this is like the local guy, right? Yeah, there's no urgency. And it's even more baffling now with the economy the way it is and people having to use credit cards to buy food and just shuffling money away and cable getting cut off, repossession of cars are through the roof. But people are not showing up to the jobs. Like there's work to be had. They're just not, I don't know where they're at.
Yeah, it's funny because I think, Tim, you did a series on how to develop your handyman business, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of it is like, go quote the job, go do the job, even if it takes more than, oops, I totally messed that one up, and get it done. And then charge what you said you were going to charge, even if you screwed up.
Yes.
And they will want you back, even though it's going to cost them more next time. It looks like you got a new member, John.
I see that.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think that's yours because I don't have memberships on mine.
Thank you.
Nova Scotia was like that too, where I grew up. Again, the East Coast, well, just the rural kind of mentality. If a plumber says he'll be there, it could be today, it could be in 3 weeks. And when I came to, I was asked this question the other day about what was it like moving from a place where people didn't like to pay for things or maybe necessarily show up on time to somewhere where it was. Well, when we came out here, people, for the most part, if a plumber or an electrician said, hey, I'm going to be here, I'm here. And it's kind of a little more rigid way to build a business around. But yes, as far as starting a handyman business or any business, half of it is just showing up. When I first started with my business, it was simply people were excited there was somebody doing all the shit that nobody else was doing around town. And every time you go somewhere, they're like, oh, this is great. There's nobody that trims hedges or rake lawns or, cleans up dog poo. And you call me, you give me a price, and you do it for that price. And I'm telling you, especially early on, there were a bunch of times that I priced the job and I was gritting my teeth the whole time. But at the end of the job, I charged them what I told them because that's what I said I was going to do.
I tell guys that everybody's like, I want to move to Camden, Tennessee. And I'm like, look, there's nothing here. You can live like a king, but you have to bring some kind of business. There's no work to take here, right? Not that you want to do. And I said, come in and be the handyman guy. And if you're the handyman guy, find out what everybody else is charging and be the most expensive handyman guy. And when they're like, well, you're overpriced or you're this or that, I'm going to do what I tell you I'm going to do. And when I'm done, the job's going to be right. And if something happens, I'm going to be accessible and I'm going to be back there. There's several dudes that have moved here and they are the handyman guy. And all of their work comes off of a local Camden, Tennessee group on Facebook. And I see them all the time. And every time somebody's like, hey, who should I use? It's this dude who hasn't even lived in this town for a year. And they're constantly calling him because the other dudes you call who have lived here, the 15, 20 years I'm here, they don't even come and quote jobs. Like you can't get a guy.
Yeah. You can't get a guy.
But he's making tons of money. Like I see him making it.
No, I have a friend who got out of the military, he was in another state, spent a year getting his electrician certifications.
Nice.
2020 hit, shutdowns, all that. He was in one of the states you don't want to be in for that. And he started looking in Tennessee, and he was originally planning to stay up there another couple years to get, journeyman status. And then he was like, it will add 6 months if I move to Tennessee. So I'm moving to Tennessee. He moved to Tennessee, started his, at first worked for another electrician and then started his own business. He has so much work that he can't find people to work for him. He is doing great. And it's just because what he does, he tells you, I'm too busy to come over because I'm working this other job. I'll be able to get there in 2 weeks and quote it. And then 2 weeks later, knock, 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 he's there to quote it. Then he gives you the quote the same day. And if he says he's going to show up, he shows up. And if something comes up that keeps him from getting there, he calls you and tells you what's going on. And that's it. That's what it takes. You know, just a good work ethic and the ability to communicate when things go bad.
The communication skills are lacking across the board. But as far, you know, there's so many that just ghost you or don't call you back. You know what? I have a garage door that I ended up, I installed my own garage door this year because I had called the garage door company for 2 years in a row to get them here to do it. And
wow,
couldn't even get a price. And I was like, well, okay. So I went and bought the garage door and taught myself how to install a garage door. I got a garage door and an opener for half the price it would have cost them to bring me a garage door and install it. So 2 years I tried. Jason there said he owns a trash company and makes $7,000 a month picking up other people's trash. I'm telling you right now, if you have a truck, that is one of the best ways to make money. I love it. There's nothing I love better than pulling up somewhere, loading up garbage, throwing it on my truck and going to the landfill. It's one of the easiest jobs you can do. And it's one that people will pay you well for. I think in all the years I had one old guy who hollered at me over my price and I told him he wasn't my customer that I needed and had a nice day. That was it. But I mean, you can charge within reason quite a bit for hauling garbage away and people are happy to pay you.
Yeah, here, I think a lot of county areas in Tennessee, you don't have trash service.
Right.
And what we have in my county is a dumpster. And there's a dump, but there's also dumpsters around the county. You bring your trash to that dumpster. And every so often, somebody will put up a sign that says, you know, 40 or 50 bucks a month. They come take one can. And if they can line that all up in one area, yep, they just go through on the same day every week and do it. And I think that's a brilliant way to, you know, that's what I mean by finding the opportunities, right? Okay.
A lot of that can be cash business too.
Yeah, I don't have any money and I'm out of work and I don't qualify for unemployment and blah, blah, blah. Cry tear in my beer. Oh, wait, there's a bunch of people around here who are employed who don't like having to put trash cans in their cars. They don't have a truck. Trash is nasty. I have a truck. I'll do it. Or I don't have a truck. I have a little rinky-dink trailer, or I'm willing to put trash in the back of my Honda Civic, like whatever it is. You know, once you start doing it, you start getting money, it builds your confidence and you start seeing other opportunities.
In my little town, we have less than 2,000 people and we have city garbage pickup for everybody. You have those gray bins that you push out. They don't do it for businesses. So there's a company here that rents dumpsters. There's another company that rents those same bins, but will pick up from businesses. And there's another company that has the half of an old, you know, they take the box off a truck. They build a plywood bin around it. He hauls it out to oil sites and different things. They fill it up and he takes it to the dump for him on Saturdays. 3 different businesses all built. Plus I haul trash for people. So there's 4 businesses in a town of 2,000, all different niches for garbage. And
that's what,
yeah,
that's what Jason does. He's got a Chevy truck. He's got 2 of them. Like for guys in the city, you've never seen anything like this, right? You guys are used to the automated trash truck, and the cops come give you a ticket if you have your shit in the wrong trash bin and you got 3 different colors. Here, we put trash bags inside of an IBC tote and hope raccoons don't chew them all apart. And a dude comes by once a week and picks your trash up. And basically he's taken the side fencing panels off of a dog kennel and you have a box in the back of your truck and all those trash bags get thrown in there. We used to pay $14 a week. I think the price is now $20 or above for that. I have a waste management dumpster out here, the big green ones. If you want to see some crazy shit, start going down the conspiracy theory trail, not even conspiracy, the criminal trail of waste management. It's fucking amazing. There's a lot of information there with the mob and stuff. But like if I had to start a business, or if my kid came to me, he's like, hey, I want to start my own thing, I would tell him trash. And I would say, hey, I would charge more, whatever those other dudes are charging right now, I would charge $5 more out the gate. Like that's what it would cost, because these guys are turning work down. We have all these people moving here. They've sold their They've sold their, California and New York homes for 3 times value. Come here, buy 100 acres of property. They're living in a travel trailer, and nobody can build their property out. So they're living in sheds and stuff. If you came in, and they have money, they have a lot of money for this area. Deal with those people. They are easy customers.
Oh, yes.
Yep. And it's one less thing they have to do when they're dealing with being on bare land.
Yep.
So easy win.
And you can come in because you know what they don't know, right? You can go rent a piece of equipment. That's the other thing, man. That's how the Diesel brothers started. They rented some equipment, did a job, built a block wall, rented an excavator. Now they own, millions and millions of dollars in equipment and all kinds of crazy stuff. Dave started a YouTube channel like less than a year ago. I think he's got 5 million followers now.
That's awesome.
Diesel Dave. It's awesome to watch. Just do what other people won't do. That's just what it comes. And running equipment and running a truck, like I'll bet Jason don't have air. He's a automotive repair dude. I'll bet his fucking air conditioning don't work in his truck. I'd get a comfortable ass truck, and my tractors all have air conditioning in them. You could run that stuff 16 hours a day, man, with a forestry mulch and clear property, and listen to your own music or listen to your podcasts, and you'll own that shit. In no time, you will own that stuff.
Yeah, you can charge a lot for that kind of work too.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's literally like my lady out here, I had a big excavator here last week, and Melinda, she's like, is it easy to drive? I go, did you ever play Atari as a kid? She's like, yeah. I go, you can totally. And I had her out there driving around and spinning the excavator around. Anybody can drive those things.
Yeah, it's really fun to drive that stuff. I think.
I'm renting a skid steer this weekend. I've only used it once. I had never used one before. I know, right? I have all these things I do and never used a skid steer before last summer. I hopped in it in 5 minutes. I was pretty comfortable with it. And talking about renting gear, I can rent a skid steer for just about $200 a day here. Yeah. You know how much work you can get done? I used to rehab front lawns. So a big business that we do here, all of the plumbing, the sewer and water supply is quite old. So when the frost comes out of the ground, you'll get 8 or 10 houses in the town the water line will break. So then they have to dig it up. They got to let the dirt settle. And then insurance pays, me or someone else to go in and fix their front lawn. We would go in and dig all that up by hand because I thought it would be cheaper than renting a skid. No way. I'm done. Right? $200. And I can do what took us 10 hours hand digging in like half an hour. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah. So
it's a force multiplier.
Absolutely. And talking about renting, aerating lawns here is a big thing. People want you to, it's where they punch the holes and they leave looks like little dog poop everywhere. I'd never heard of it before I moved here. Somebody called me one day. They're like, do you aerate? I'm like, sure. Didn't even know what it was at the moment.
Google's aerate.
That's why I went on YouTube. Didn't know what it was. I didn't even know what the fucking machine looked like. So I go on. Yeah, okay. I called the local rental place. Yep, it's $80 to rent it. Thought, okay. So I told the first customer, I'll come do it. It's $80. So I rented it. I brought it home. I aerated my lawn. Looked like it, but I learned how to do it first. Then I went to the customer's place. Then I realized, wait a minute. So then I advertise. Now I charge about $100 to do an average lawn. It takes me 15 minutes to do the lawn. I'll usually get 10 or 12 in a day, make $1,000, $1,200, and it costs me $80 to rent it. And I don't need to winterize that gear all year. I'm not tripping over something that weighs 500 pounds. I just go pick it up. I wash it off. I fill it full of gas and I take it back. And in a day, I make $1,000 for an $80 rental.
Yep.
That's a great way to make money. Hey guys, in the comments, if you have questions or topics you want to bring up, put them in the comments. This is supposed to be a two-way conversation, and John, Tim, and I could probably talk all day long about where to source stickers or whatever, but we could
talk about a lot,
which is what we were talking about before we went live. But we also wanted to orient this towards what you're interested in. So just throwing that one out there. John, what's been on your mind this week?
Shit, I don't know. Same as every other week, I guess. We're building product, shipping product. We're uploading between 3 and 5 videos every day on YouTube, social media posts. TikTok is still crazy. There's a bunch of little nitty bitches all over TikTok. It's insane. Like But I mean, TikTok is growing, right? I get more new people from TikTok, more new money from TikTok than all of the other platforms all combined right now. Somebody said I watch a bunch of social media development places and TikTok pages and groups, and they said you got to look at YouTube, you got to look at Facebook as though it's just Karens, right? It's people constantly complaining. And you look at Instagram as though it's 25 to 35-year-olds that want to see really pretty photos. And you look at TikTok as though it's 15 to 25-year-olds who have never been slapped the shit out of them. It's a trip, but the money is there. Some guys like, stop uploading this music. I hate this music. I'm like, you have a volume button. Like, he's like, well, I'm a musician, or I don't know, maybe he said magician. I'm a musician. And I just don't like this music. I go, man, I remember when I started this business 35 years ago. I've run this for 35 years. I remember when cassette tapes come out. I remember mini discs. I remember CDs. And I remember, you know what the problem with most people today is we have too many choices and we don't exercise the ability to do them. Instead, we want to vocalize the negative, where you could just, I told him, I go, man, if you hit the block button, you'll never see any of my content. And he goes, well, I want to see your content. I just don't like the music. And that's when I said, I go, dude, you have choices, man. You have choices.
Yeah.
So
it's funny how people feel so entitled for things like that. I had a conversation yesterday. Somebody didn't like a platform and they were like, I just don't see the point of that platform. I'm like, well, this is why I use that platform.
What is it?
And they kept it. It's the Fountain FM app.
Okay.
And they were like, well, it just doesn't seem any different than this other platform. And it's significantly different in one way that is important to me, which is that it's tapping into the Lightning Network and it's like supporting a tipping culture. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Monetization.
Yeah. And they're like, well, I'm going to keep using the app I like. And I'm like, well, that's cool. But why do I need to know that?
Right.
I mean, I support your decision. And I think later it'll be one of those things that as the kinks work out of that app, I think that one's going to make it, as long as they don't do something stupid as they scale out. Because right now what we're watching is a lot of adoption, and scale out decisions can kill a company. We've seen that with some of these other decentralized platforms where it was like, whoops, that was the wrong decision.
Gee, I wonder who you're talking about.
Nobody.
No, I know. So Fountain, the CMO, reached out to me this morning. He's
Yeah.
like, I just read your I just listened to your podcast. I did one on Fountain. He said, I loved it. I'd love to reach out and have a chat. That blew me away. So anyway, I booked a time with him.
Cool.
But if you're not using Fountain right now, so I just got to tell you, for $50 American, I mean, what can you spend $50 on?
Yeah.
I put my podcast in there. I pick an episode that I thought I really knocked it out of the park with. So I've done it twice now. They promote it on the front page. So $40 of that goes to pay listeners in Satoshis, the little mini Bitcoins or whatever. So they guarantee you'll get about 900 listens on an episode for it. Well, the first one I did, and now this one, I got around 2,500 listens for $40. And not just that, but my traffic, I would say I can't remember the exact numbers. I want to say between 15 and 20% sustained growth since then, the 2 and 3 weeks afterwards. So I did 2 weeks with a promotion, then I did 2 weeks without the promotion. And now I just ran a new promotion and I saw about 15 to 20% growth from that first one. And I think more people are catching on. This one is taking a little longer to work its way through the full. There's more people promoting now, but it's still working just as good. And if you're not using it, man, I love the
I've been promoting clips instead of episodes. I found a good 8-minute clip about one of my horror stories here and put it out. That thing's been going crazy. I put it out yesterday.
And so it costs you, right? All you have to do is convert 2 of those listeners to monetization, right? So if I can sell 2 of those listeners a $25 t-shirt, that paid that $40, right? It's $50 for the 2 shirts. Just convert them.
That's not, $40, $50. What is that even, right? And I got a shout out too, John. You kicked my ass last time I was on. Said if you're not doing TikTok, you're stupid or whatever.
Yeah, you're doing it way better. I'm watching your TikTok to see how I do it.
So listen, I put one, I got a little, I don't want to say lucky. I put it on. I had a video go viral, got 1.5 million views. So I'm at like 4,000 and some followers. In that first month, traffic to my website doubled. Yep. My Amazon affiliate sales doubled. We're not talking huge numbers yet, but just that alone was huge. And it's sustained too. It slowed down because that one video kind of petered back, but I'm still getting about half my website traffic to my Amazon affiliate from TikTok. It's awesome. Like, yeah. Thank you for busting my balls on that because, and it's easy. Listen, so yes, 2 days ago, Becky's in the passport office. I'm like, you know what? I flipped through. I found one of my money-making minute videos from almost 2 years ago about my favorite Gorilla glue products, or my Gorilla products, right? I downloaded it on my phone. In half an hour, I had turned it into a 1-minute TikTok. I uploaded it to TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and now some of my creator friends are telling me that Facebook is the place to go. A few people have gotten monetized on there. They'll pay you $1,200 a month, or that's the cap they'll pay you if you're starting to get good traffic. My buddy Joseph Mills has been putting them on there. He had one video do over 1 million views on Facebook. So, and what is that? I make one video, I post it to 4 places, it's done. And I can't even get monetized on Facebook or TikTok in Canada. But that doesn't matter because it's driving traffic to my website.
So I've been authoring my videos. So I go into Instagram, find previous posts for the product, copy and paste so I have the hashtags.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And then I go to TikTok, author the video because it's so simple. And I can put 5-6 video clips together in TikTok and move my audio around. And if I'm putting up I put up a new shirt, right? This is our new shirt.
Love it.
In TikTok, I type in new shirt in music and it gives me 100 songs that have new shirt, right? So I got a new shirt. I got a new shirt. So that's the play. That's the track. I can maneuver it. And then I share it on TikTok. I copy paste all my hashtags and then I change the text. And then I copy paste that final text. And then when it authors up and posts, then I share it from TikTok to Instagram. I share it from TikTok to YouTube. And then I'll put my overlay words in there. But I have a feeling, so like monetizing those shorts in Facebook, I would suspect that you won't get any monetization if you're just sharing it from TikTok. So you have to re-author the whole thing.
So I edit in CapCut, so it gives me a raw video. Then I upload directly to each one because what I found was when you upload to TikTok and then, it downloads to your phone and it has that watermark, most of the other places seem to treat it not so great. Like I think, it's like sloppy seconds,
Yeah, I think that is the case.
And now for a totally different topic. No, go ahead.
There is another software package. I want to say it costs $45 a month, and it's for content creators that are cross-platform.
Yeah.
So you actually load it in this, and it auto posts all of your stuff to every other platform that you use.
Do you know the name of it?
No, but I do. I don't have it here.
40 is a really good price for that.
Yeah.
Most of the ones I know of are more in the $250 to $500 a month range. If there's a $40 a month one, I will take that one on.
I follow a couple of girls on TikTok. One of them, she just buys businesses. She's buying and flipping businesses. Another one, she always wears like kind of a witch's hat, and she's got long blue hair. And every day, every post she makes is something that I'm like, holy shit, we can use that. We can use that. We can use that. It's just 100% actionable.
So I highlighted this comment for the last 27 minutes because
sorry, I got carried away.
Well, no, because it was good what you guys are saying, but I didn't unhighlight it because this is something that I find very frustrating in the world is not people having trouble making a choice or being terrified of making a choice. So Ken's saying I've got kids who are terrified to make a choice about a fast food joint.
You want my answer to that?
Probably going to be mine too. Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
Well, then they don't eat that night. Your kids, when your kids won't eat pepperoni pizza and they'll only eat chicken nuggets or whatever, your kid's never been hungry. It will be okay. That little motherfucker doesn't eat tonight, and tomorrow when he's hungry, that food is there from last night. Like you just get, I bet you they make a decision next time. My friend John Dillard, Master Sergeant John Dillard, he used to talk about him and his sister would bicker in the back of the car. And they had driven all the way from San Diego to Disneyland, right, in Anaheim, California, 2.5 hour drive, whatever. They get to Disneyland, they're bickering, and mom's like, we're going to turn around and go home if you don't stop. And they're bickering and bickering and bickering. They get to Disneyland, and they drove all the way back home. He said, my sister and I never fought again. He said, as kids, we'd be in a restaurant, and we'd be doing something stupid, and mom would literally throw iced tea on you. Like you'd get iced tea and ice cubes. That shit stopped. It just ended right then. They just don't go to Disneyland that time. They will remember it the rest of their lives, and they will be able to make decisions from there forth.
Yeah. So but the other deeper thing is the culture of being terrified to make a decision.
Who instilled that? Public school? I mean, where'd that come from?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's everything. It's public schools. It's supported by social media. It's supported by mainstream media. It's supported in the programming we see on TV that there is a right answer and a wrong answer. And people are so terrified of either making the wrong answer or making somebody else unhappy because they chose the wrong fast food restaurant for everybody else that they just don't say what they think.
Yeah, I promise you that if I'm ever going or Amanda ever goes for fast food, when our kids were little, it's one fast food. We're not going to multiple windows, right? And when I'm going someplace and I ask my employees what they want, I'm not bringing you fucking drinks. I'm not bringing 15, 20 sodas back, right? Tell me what you want. You can drink something that's here. Like, and I know Ken, right? I know that there's more to that story, right? Ken's got his shit together.
It's not his kids.
God kids.
Step kids.
It's his God kids.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally different level of power there in the upbringing. But yeah, it's just, I try to facilitate ways when I come across kids who are like this, who I'm with, to get them to make a choice. So somebody said, I give my kid two choices. You can have chicken nuggets or pizza. Which is it going to be? And then they have to choose. And getting kids over that thing by reducing the choices helps them start having the balls to make the choice. And if you do that young, when you see that, I think it's a really good thing, because then later in life, when somebody's like, do you like soda or do you want a beer or whatever it is? And they're like, the wrong decision. Or what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. What's the right decision? They've made enough decisions and lived with the consequences that they realize the consequences of the other decision aren't that bad. And I think we've really made people terrified of consequences. And most consequences aren't terrible. Like, I've had terrible things happen in my life, and here I am still alive, basically healthy, You're
successful,
Yeah. And there have been times when I've really, really struggled, and I'm sure it'll happen again, but it never killed me. And if it does, then I won't care because I'll be dead.
Yeah.
I remember it was in the late 90s. I heard it on the radio. They said then that our generation had to make more choices in a day than our great grandparents made in their lifetime.
Yep.
But my big thing is just make a decision. If you're trying to figure out whether you're going to do this or that for business, doing something is better than doing nothing almost every single time. Just start getting your feet moving and then make adjustments as you go. But try not to get paralyzed with the fear, because that's where you end up doing nothing. Again, you stand there at the goddamn drive-through window all day wondering, should I have Diet Pepsi or fucking Fanta? Just do it.
Action. It's just
neither. You should have water.
It's just action. And if the 90% is fearful, that's fine. I'll rent properties to them.
Yes,
they won't ever own a property. They won't ever have anything. Stay your 90% ass, group in fear. That's fine. Because the other 10%, because I'm not friends with those 90%. I don't typically, people that come around and people that consume content, they don't like the things I say if they're in the 90%, unless it's somebody really trying to change their life, and then they're going to come and in some manner we're going to be friends or do business.
Yep. Okay, I have another starred one to bring up here. Just have to operate the mouse. I have many people ask me how to stay motivated. Any advice? Do something you love.
John's probably the best one to talk about, but just start, because so many people say I'm not motivated. Even my son, he struggles with this. He said, Dad, how do you do so much in the day? And I said, so what's that?
How old is he?
25, 24. Yep.
Okay.
And, he's doing a hell of a lot better than he was. I'm proud of him. But yeah, Chris is right. Don't stop moving. Start moving first, though, because so many people sit at home and they say, I'm not motivated or I'm depressed. And the problem is you get in that stupid, I don't mean, whatever. And you get in that mindset. Yeah. You just sit there. I do it. So I'm not going to lie. I get caught in it sometimes too, but you just sit there. And if once you start doing one thing, you feel like doing more. Last night I got done on the live stream and I went out and started cleaning up the garage because it'd been a week and a half since I'd been able to put my since I made enough time to put my tools away. When I started, it just one thing after another. But once you start one foot in front of the other, you don't want to stop. But
physical movement usually brings clarity of mind. If you turn this thing off, like literally leave this. When's the last time anybody in the audience has gotten in a vehicle and gone somewhere and not had this thing? We actually panic when we're not sure where it is, right?
Oh, yes.
Leave this thing alone. Like most of your problems will go away because you will have clarity and focus. Just move. Just fucking do something. Just literally do something. I got a friend who's making like multi-millionaire. Like he's doing property stuff every month. It's over $3 million, $5 million deals. And when he flips them, he makes $10 million, like tons of money, right? Everything should be fine in his life. So like I had a fucking full mental breakdown on Sunday, couldn't move. I went into my gym. I sat there for 3 hours, just staring, didn't do shit. You know what fixed the problem? He went and put some fence line up. He just bought some horses. He's like, I just started digging holes in rock. And he said 3 hours later, every single thing that I thought was wrong is gone. I have clarity. And this week I've done more on Monday and Tuesday than I did the last 30 days. It's just movement.
Yeah, movement's really important. I know when I'm writing a hard article, like I'm a pretty good writer, but the sitting down and writing part of that's very hard for me. So I'll sit down and I'll write some bullshit. And then I'll go outside and I'll work in the garden for a while, or I'll do something. And the whole time I'm writing in my head. And it's not even in the front of my consciousness. It's subconsciously. And I'll get done with the project and I'll be like, that feels good to have accomplished something. And then I'm like, I'm ready to write. And then I write. And if you interrupt me when I reach that zone, I'll have the article written in 20 minutes at that point. Well, I really spent 6 hours writing it. It was just most of it was done out in the yard while I was doing something else.
Yeah. And you can when you have good ideas, you can talk the text to it. I mean,
yes.
I just told you to leave this thing somewhere else, but you can write it down, jot it down, text it. Like I usually just private message it to my wife, to Amanda, and she's like, "What the fuck was that about?" And that's because I have it there. It's there.
I do the same thing with Becky all the time. I'll just send her a random text like, "What the hell is that for?" I'm like, I just didn't want to lose the thought. I said, just send it back to me or it'll be there.
Yep.
Just ignore it if it's some random bullshit. I'm going to go look at it later.
It's like, hon, what is this about the 10 benefits of saving milk crates? What the hell is this, Tim?
We need to bring the milk crate challenge back.
Yes, tomorrow's show is all about the beauty of the milk crate on my podcast. So
I love milk crates. They're actually really good freezer organizers if you have a deep freeze.
Oh yes, yeah.
11.
Yeah. I do a lot of so every 2 weeks I have about a 5 to 6 hour round trip where I check on all my bank properties, and I'll usually put an audiobook in, and that's what I do. I drive and I'll do talk to text, because especially I find that first hour on the road, my brain makes all these connections, and I paragraphs and paragraphs of ideas sometimes. And if I don't write them down, they're gone just like that.
Yep. Yeah. I can't tell you the number of times I've decided, okay, Monday's show is going to be about topic, and it's Sunday night. And I'm like, I'll remember that. Say it to myself 3 times, make a mental image that's a graphical, reminder, like all of this stuff to remember it. I get up and I'm like, I don't know what my show's about today. I should have written that down. So now around my house, you'll just find random notes. Like dealing with loss on the homestead was on my kitchen counter on a piece of paper, like, scrap paper like this with a bunch of, I was, oh yeah, that's what my podcast is about today. Okay, we'll do it.
Michael V said, where do you find milk crates? I would suspect that a portion of the audience has never even seen a real milk crate with the metal band around it. Like we used to put motorcycles on. most milk crates that you see now, like at Walmart or whatever, they are not real milk crates. It's a very different animal. You want the ones that say prosecution, federal prison, don't steal these. Those are the real milk crates.
Yeah. Hatcher Dairy.
Landfill. I do, if you start, because again, when I do property cleanups for people, I save so much shit. Only the good stuff, though. Don't get buried in it. But, we cleaned up an empty property the other day. I came home with 2 milk crates. That's always the highlight of my day is how many milk crates I can find in a garbage cleanup. But a lot of times people come into a new property and want all that shit moved out. There's stuff of value there. You can take that stuff and sell a ton of that shit.
Yeah,
I do. I try to focus on either small, high dollar items or big stuff that I can flip really quick. Because I used to get really bad. I got buried in shit that I shouldn't have kept. So you learn, and also building supplies, anything you can build something out of, save that shit and put it up overhead, whatever, because that's money in the bank.
Yeah. If it's over 6 inches, we save every wood. If it's over 6 inches.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna interrupt the show to say I've noticed that our head count keeps going up. That's great. Comment, hit the like button, share, and let people know we're having this conversation. It'll just keep the algorithms going. That helps us out. That helps us, be motivated to do this every Wednesday. End of commercial.
Somebody asked what my TikTok was. I posted it. I'm not sure which chat I'm posting in because it only shows up sometimes in here, but it's Toolman Tim's workshop, if anybody's wondering. So
not Taylor. Not Toolman.
Not Taylor. Yeah, somebody called me Toolman Taylor last night in the live stream. I laughed out loud. I was in bed watching your live stream, and you're like, "Hey, it's Tim the Toolman Taylor," and I'm like, "Yes, he called me that." So
I spent 30 minutes trying to forward you the message about all the new Milwaukee tools.
Oh,
and I couldn't find you on any platform because I was putting in Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Oh, sure you were. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That makes my day. I've got we're both in the Telegram group for SRF now. You can grab my name there. That's cool.
So this message reminds me of my best dumpster score ever. So the cool thing about bringing your stuff to the dumpster in the county is other people bring useful stuff to the dumpster in the county. I drove up once. I got 50 T-posts, metal T-posts. And they all had a little bit of barbed wire that I had to cut off each one. But I'm using those T-posts to this day. I'm not, I don't always dumpster dive, but when I do, it's got to be something good.
So as a child, I would go to the dump at Miramar in San Diego with my grandfather. And you would literally drive 20 minutes down dirt roads to get ready to dump in the trash, right? And when you get out, there'd be these enormous bulldozers just pushing piles of trash. And then on the edge, people would leave bicycles and generators and washers and dryers and all kinds of things. And you could dump your trash and grab whatever you wanted and put it in your truck. That is now illegal. You can't do that in San Diego any longer. I saw a show about someplace in Alaska, and they call it the shopping mall, and it's the same thing. When you go to the dump, people who don't want things leave them there, and you are more than welcome to take them. And there's building materials and scraps, and you name it, it's all there. But most places, they make it illegal to even do that anymore.
Which is terrible, because what better way to recycle something and keep it out of the landfills that we're so concerned about than to just reuse the dang stuff?
Well, I mean, they let you sue for anything. I mean, if you come onto the dump and you get hurt, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean,
suing is a problem.
There's firewood there that you could take home with you. Even if you're a kid, I've told this story. I used to walk the ditches and collect cans out here, but the cans that go to the landfill here are incredible too. And sometimes you'll see, sometimes you'll see copper sitting on the ground that was mixed in with the dump, the garbage. And man, if you want not an easy, but one way to make money that doesn't take a lot of space to store copper. I always collect all my scrap copper, but just look for it and bring it home with you or pick it up off the road or whatever.
Here's a good one. Hey, John and crew, how do you push through sickness and continue to run your business? I get sick once every couple of years. It really sucks my energy out for a few days. I will answer last.
What are we calling sickness, right?
I think they mean the flu or something.
Yeah, I don't have that option. My wife had carpal tunnel surgery. I think it was on a Wednesday morning, carpal tunnel surgery. She was in here doing payroll that night, and she was cutting hair that Friday at one of our parties. She cut a bunch of people's hair the same day. She had stomach surgery. They did some procedure in her esophagus years ago, she was here that day, right? We don't have that option. If you are so sick you can't move, well, then you're so sick and you can't move. You don't have that ability. Hopefully you get sick on the weekends. But I use my weekends probably more than I even use my 5 days through the week. If you can't, you can't. But I think people have been calibrated to where they don't have a fucking clue what they're capable of.
We just had COVID go through the house. And for the first time, I only missed one episode. And so I was pretty fucking proud of myself. But 2 days where I was flat out on my back. First time that's happened in a long time. But, we have people and systems in place for us that can at least take care of it for those couple of days. So it was what it was. I mean, I there was no option for me. And that's the first time since I've run my business that I was flat out on my back, and it fucking sucked. But, I had my son and my wife, and, my wife's going to Vegas in 3 or 4 weeks, and we are doing a whole bunch of work at the daycare. I'm here to take care of all the shit that she'll be gone to take care of. So, have a partner or a team or people in place that can help you too. That helps.
Yeah. I mean, I've got, hopefully Amanda and I won't ever be sick at the same time.
Right.
And my son works here and has keys and can do everything that needs to be done here. I don't know. And I don't know your situation, right? I don't know what we're talking about sickness. I also don't know what type of business you run.
Yeah. So I know I handle it as follows. One, I am roasting coffee and sending food to people. So if I have something that I think is contagious, like COVID, I'm not roasting anything. I'm not going to risk that. But I have somebody else who now has been trained up to roast who can come in and do it. And I'm set up so I can be completely quarantined in my house and they never have to see me, and it's all out there. So when I had COVID, it knocked me on my butt for a good 24 to 48 hours that I was really just not even very coherent. And during that time, I canceled one live stream with Tim, actually. I didn't show up to your show. I was like, sorry, man.
It's okay.
Because I remember I did a live stream and then it was you. And then there was a Friday live, I think, with John Willis. And that Thursday was the one I missed. And that was you. And it was because it was late in the day. And then I just had Michelle come in and handle orders every couple of days. So, it took a little longer to fulfill those orders. But the thing is, when you have your business and you're sick, you need to figure out either how to communicate what's going on or how to get around it. And then my strategy when I get sick, if I get sick, I budget time to hibernate. I'll be like, I'm going to get all my stuff done. And then I am going to bed. I am not doing extra stuff. I'm not watching shows. I'm going to bed and I'm going to stay in bed until I get better. Because what I've found is if you have something that is long lasting, like I have some long COVID symptoms that I've had since February that caused me to like that defeating fatigue and body aches is super fun. And I can push through it. But there are times when it's like, okay, the body aches, I've been pushing those off for a few days. So today I'm going to have body aches and go to bed early and just do it all night, get it out of my system and go again. And that may not sound very healthy, but I feel like it's less healthy to just always give into it. Always give into it. Poor Tactical has to hear me bitch about it, but I also bitch about it.
I have 1,000 animals here. Those animals don't care whether I'm sick or not.
No.
They don't give a shit how I feel when the water gets filled in those waterers and how I feel or how I look when they get fed. They don't care. There's not a farmer out there that is not up at 4:30 every morning taking care of his animals, whether he's sick or doesn't feel well. It doesn't exist.
That's true. There are things that you just have to do every day, or you have to have somebody around you who can help you do it.
That's why most farmers' wives are just as capable as the farmer. That everyone I know out here, that's the way.
Yeah. It's just a different cut from a different cloth.
Yep.
D3 and zinc. Absolutely, man. D3 and zinc. But and you can't just take zinc. You have to take Q-Certain. You can take as much zinc as you want, but your body won't absorb the zinc.
Yeah. You need the ionophore to open it up.
A lot of things will do that, but you should definitely throw Q-Certain in there as that.
Yeah, see, everybody's giving Tactical a hard time about going to the ER 3 times this year.
That's poor Tactical. That because it was only 2 recently. So was there another one recently? Poor guy.
I mean, he's had stitches, I think, 3 times in his finger. Yeah, 3 times.
It's because Nicole's like, you better get up and get out there and finish that.
That's right.
Right
Pick
now.
those rocks. I can be a hard ass sometimes.
I just harvested my first comfrey.
Yay!
My buddy, you saw Chris Dixon in here earlier. He brought me up 4 plants. He came up and spent the weekend at our place and brought me 4 plants. I just harvested. You can't really see them, but I got 6 or 8 bundles of leaves. I'm drying out in my sea can. Going to try my hand at comfrey salve. So that's something new to us, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think you will find yourself successful at the salve.
I hope so. I'm sure. Yeah, we'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
I always love new things anyway, but this was a little bit new for us and trying it. And my wicking bed went incredible this year, just incredible. I love that thing. If you're not building wicking beds, oh man, they
So, are
really
you growing much food at your place at this point?
Not a lot. Right now, this is my first wicking bed. We got just blueberry. We got blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, comfrey. Yeah, I think that's what we put in that first one this year. And no excuse, just haven't done it. I go buy bulk from the Hutterites, bring it home, can it or use it. And as far as meat goes, I have a butcher that I buy directly from. Although I'm starting to think about, I had Mike from Snail Creek Homestead on the other night, and right in my town here we have an auction mart. My brother-in-law has a place out of town. I have a hoist in my garage, so I'm thinking it might be time to go buy a cow from the auction mart, take it out of town, dispatch it, bring it back to my garage and butcher it. I think I could save about half the money doing that, and I love butchering things.
awesome.
And it gets
I had
cold
to
enough-
highlight this comment just real quick on a totally different subject. Somebody just said they lost 17 pounds changing how
Nice.
they eat. Good job.
Yep.
That's the first step to having more energy is carry around less.
Chef
I
D,
think-
are you in fact a chef? I know I talk to you like every night. Are you a chef?
I love that name. Is it Chef Di or Chef D? Looks like, is that a DI? I don't
It's
know.
DI apostrophe. No.
Trying to read, because you do your live streams on a phone, don't you, John?
Big iPad. People
Okay.
are like,
Yeah.
recently people are back to, how come you do everything vertical? Because I always have. That's just how this hurts my wrist, right? This doesn't. So
I've been trying to shoot my videos with vertical in mind, because with CapCut now, I switched to CapCut for my YouTube videos as well, because they tend to be horizontal. And then, but you really only use this much of the screen anyway. So now it's a matter of just pulling it out and you're good.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, no, but I cook every day.
Awesome. Awesome.
Maybe you already don't know it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
I'm getting a freeze dryer. Oh, sorry. I was just
You got a
filling in the
freeze
space.
dryer?
It's coming within the month. So
Good.
yeah, I bought the large one. I figured for an extra $500.
Did you figure a workaround to the problems with the freeze dryer, or did you just do it?
For now, I'm just getting it, and I always figure out problems as solve problems as I go. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yep.
I'm going to take a lot of the hamburger that we get from, so I'm buying a side of beef. It should be here in September. My plan is to stock up a bit of it. I was not mad, but John, when you were pushing all the stuff on Amazon was so cheap, not in Canada, the freeze dried food, when not Mountain House, but the other one. So
Yep.
yeah, I can't, almost never can I get it. And when I can, it's super expensive. So I think I'm going to be able to pay for it fairly quickly. Well,
Yeah.
I say quickly, relatively speaking, when you can deal with a $5,500 purchase. But yeah, it'll.
So is Canada putting a surcharge on the import for that, or is it just the shipping costs more? What's the?
A little of both. Like, for instance, so I bought a wallet from you the other day, right? And I'm going to do a review on it. I love the wallet. So it was, what was it to ship to Canada? $20 or something? I can't remember. But by the time it comes through, so I ended up paying well over $100 for the wallet, worth absolutely every penny. But it's always, you have to pay the duty fees when it comes across the border, and then shipping always costs a little bit more, and then food. And so with Amazon, it was, for starters, we have less of a selection. So they just bring less stuff north of the border, and everything just costs more. And even after you figure in the exchange rate, it's usually about 20% more for products up here than it is south of the border.
Got it. So has anybody ever done hot dog carts? There are a lot of millionaires made from hot dog carts.
That's what we need at Self-Reliance Festival, a hot dog cart.
And the hot dog cart, and as you know, the hot dog cart is, steamer, or, there's different ways to do it. And then the condiments. There are people literally killed over hot dog cart permits in New York and different areas, right? There's a lot of information about that. And my guy, Pierre, he knows a fucking ton about it. If you're serious about it, I will put you with somebody that knows a lot about doing that. But man, that's a license to steal, man. That and pawn shops, and people make a ton of off the record money with hot dog carts or any food truck, man. If you get a food truck and you can hire some real Mexicans to do real Mexican food, like Tijuana Mexican food, you can make a ton of money.
There's I don't want to say very little, but as far as the upfront costs, especially for small hot dog carts, is way less than a full-fledged food cart too, or a food truck.
Yep.
I can tell you the best tamales I ever had in my life. I was in Houston, Texas at a bar with some friends, and a lady came in with a cart selling bundles of tamales, and we bought one and just split it. I've never had anything like those tamales since. They were so delicious. Find your thing like that and go for it, man. Worst case scenario, somebody quote unquote catches you doing that without a food handler's license and gives you a ticket.
Yep.
A good friend of mine, his grandfather bought an old bread truck and turned it into what he called Spudley Do-Right, and all they sold was cans of pop and French fries. And he would follow around each weekend to the different events in Nova Scotia. They'd have agricultural fair, that kind of stuff. And it was all who you knew. So he took his time and built relationships with these places, and he'd work his ass off for 2 days, but make, $5,000 to $10,000 in 2 days selling French fries and bottled and, canned pop, and he'd go buy it by the case. And that, was it an upfront investment? It was, but once he had it, it was a license to print money for sure.
Yep.
So Chef Di or Chef D, we don't know how to say your name. Can you tell us in the comments? D-I-E is Die and D-E-E is D. I think you need to put your money where your mouth is and come to Self-Reliance Festival and start selling some of those meatballs.
So my guy Tim does a meatball. It's about the size of a softball.
Yeah.
My construction guys that worked here, my outside guys, and he would make these meatballs, and they had a huge golf ball size pepper jack cheese inside.
Oh, yeah.
Them 360 in bacon. And then he would cook these up, and then when he would serve them, he would reheat them in an oven tray with barbecue sauce. Holy shit. Like these things, like one of them, you could barely eat one, but you would always eat two because they were so good, and then you'd be fucked up the rest of the day. Chef D, bring them, man. Bring it on. Let's see that thing. Or mail them to us. I'll eat them. Just fucking send them here. We'll try them out. But I don't know, but I would think that making meatballs is probably easier than a lot of other stuff that you would do. Bring them suckers in here and sell them here at the event.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so guys in the comments, who's going to Self-Reliance Festival? Write Y or N in the comments. I'd like to know who on this live feed is going. And then I have a challenge that I've just thought of that we can do for those of you who are going. So just let me know in the comments if you're coming to the October 1st and 2nd Self-Reliance Festival. If you're wondering what the heck that is, Tim, are you going to Self-Reliance Festival?
Oh, you want to believe it. So if anybody has an excuse for not making it, well, yeah, I'm flying in. So for the record, I am flying in to Atlanta, driving to North Carolina, speaking at Prepper Camp for 3 days. That night, I am coming back to Camden, and I just today discovered that I'm going to TAC Response for 4 days. And then I'm coming to Self-Reliance Festival and speaking there. So don't make excuses.
What are you doing at TAC Response?
Handgun and rifle. I just called him this morning. So that's what I didn't think. Anyway, I'm probably crazy, but anyway, 4 days. I'll get there. I got to leave Prepper Camp a little early and drive straight through and be there for 7:30 Monday morning. So
awesome. Awesome.
Hey, Life Done Free is going to be there. You know who that is, right?
Who is it?
Tag at Life Done Free.
Oh, yeah. I'll be right back, guys. Speaking. Just give me 1 sec.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he's speaking. We just nailed that one down this week. His schedule, because there's a couple things going on at once. So I'm really excited about that because we're gonna have him here.
What's
Looks
he
like
speaking
Jason.
about?
Tag, what are you speaking about? Give us your title. I'll be there in the same place. Do we know you're doing the thing you always do, Jason? I'll make sure you're on the list. Jason shows us how to make fuel, which is pretty darn important skill, especially, if you're looking for ways to make money after shit hits the fan. That would be one way. People are going to want to buy some fuel, don't you think, John?
Or medicines, yeah, tinctures. Yep.
Tinctures are important. So here's my challenge, because I saw a lot of you saying you should start keto in the comments, or you have started keto. Weigh yourself today. Go keto or carnivore, one of those things, between now and SRF, and tell us how much you lost. It is, what is it, August 10th. Self-Reliance Festival is October 1st. How many pounds can you shed just by changing your diet? If you don't know how to do that, check out Dr. Ken Berry's YouTube channel. He'll talk to you about the proper human diet. He has all sorts of videos on how to go there. But that's my challenge. How much weight can we lose between now and Self-Reliance Festival? Because I'll tell you what, I got a fitness guy there who's going to take us the next step. Now, how can we get strong? Self-reliance isn't just about, about having food stored. If you can't walk from here to the end of your driveway and back without getting out of breath, it's time to work on that too. Okay. Michael wants to know, John, do you know Instructor Z in Nashville?
No, I have no idea who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
So you know what? I'm going to come out here and be absolutely honest about this. So John kicked my ass last time about TikTok. I did keto for a long time and lost a lot of weight. And I have been completely off the fucking wagon for a few months now. And I feel like shit. And I know I'm doing it. And I can do absolutely anything I put my mind to. But since you're making that challenge, I'll take you up on it, and we'll see.
Let's do it. I gained some weight again this year too, so that's why I'm throwing it out there.
And I'm always, I'm not making an excuse. I'm just fucking lazy when it comes to food. And I felt so good on keto, and I'm just off the wagon. So everybody knows, everybody can struggle with certain things, and that's always been my fucking struggle. So I'm gonna stick with it, Nicole, and I'll make it public so you know.
I ate a half a carton of ice cream for dinner last night.
I know you did. You said it on your live stream, and I actually was listening to your live stream.
Yeah.
Did you have any negative effects from that on the other end?
It slows me down the next day for sure, right? I drink a margarita in a cup about this much tequila, right? The rest of it's sugar-free soda.
Yep.
But you need to look at alcohol as though it's poison. You are literally poisoning yourself every time you use it. Mentally, I perform much better the next day with zero alcohol the night before. If I have 2 drinks, for instance, on Friday night, if I drink twice, I sleep much deeper and have better sleep, but I sleep way longer. I'm not getting up at 4:30 on Saturday morning, right? I'm much better. My performance and my money is better without the alcohol. I am much more restless, though, and I sleep a lot less without the alcohol also. Like, I'll go to bed at 12 o'clock, but I'm definitely going to look at the clock at 2, and I'm going to look at the clock at 3, and I'm going to get up at 3:30. So I can do that for a while, 3 weeks, maybe a month, on 3 to 4 hours of sleep. But really where I am just kind of a happy medium of both is when I drink each night. I mean, it's just the sleep thing. I mean, I can take chemicals or different stuff, sleep aids, but even then I don't sleep. It's just not there.
Yep. Okay, so who in the comments, let me know, Y or N, are you going to join me on the keto challenge? Let's get more people doing it. Even if you're not coming to SRF, you can totally report back. If you've been to Self-Reliance Festival, we have a Telegram group now, by the way. Check your emails this week, because we're sending an email to everybody whose email we have who's been to one, that will have the invitation for that. We even got Mr. Willis on there. He's said 2 things.
Yeah, I saw that. I was quite impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to stay there. It's just too fucking. It's like all my notifications. I know that when I have notifications come through my phone, it's typically social media that I'm going to react to, and I get 1,000 times more notifications off of that group I've only been on one day than everything else, and none of it's actionable to me.
I turn them off and then just check it.
I'll have to look at that.
I honestly, about 85% of the Telegram groups I am are snoozed anyway. I've got about 3 that I'm in all the time, and other than that, but notifications off and then just pop in. You can you can turn notifications off, and the only thing that'll come up is if somebody tags your name in something. That's kind of helpful too.
Perfect. Michael, I don't know who that is. I do know some fifth group guys though that run some training companies and have some YouTube channels and stuff, but I don't think they're like in Nashville proper. I think they're more kind of towards Clarksville.
Yeah, and I will say this, Tim. The key to success for me staying keto is getting ahead of the meals. So at lunch today, I know what's for dinner. On Sunday, I took all the meat out I was going to cook for the week from the freezer, and I have something in place, and then having snacks worked out, because if you're going to have a snack and you have something easy to grab that's keto, like a pre-cooked hamburger patty is a really easy one. And that may sound gross to somebody to eat cold, but if you like have garlic and salt and stuff on it, it's delicious. If you have that stuff nailed, I find it a lot easier to stay than if I'm like, it's 6 o'clock. What am I cooking for dinner?
That's
okay. Now I want to eat at 6:15. Like, what can I get done? So for me, it's like taking a little time on Sunday to think about the week, so I don't just completely go off the rails. Because if I'm left to my own devices, there's going to be Chinese takeout in the mix.
Yep. And there's no excuses. That's exactly us too, Nicole. And when I pull things out in the morning and have it ready, and when I'm strict keto, 1 meal a day, I eat supper and that's it, and I'm full. And then when you're not, I'm fucking snacking all the time. And that's about what I lost too, Brian. He said 123 pounds. I was down. Yeah, about 110. I was down at the best. So I'm in 100%.
All right.
Again.
We've got a couple people in the chat in. Some are not coming to SRF, but they're just going to report back anyway. So that works for me.
You know what? I'll stand up when I give my presentation, and I will tell you the amount that I've lost between now and then. And awesome. If it's 0, I will tell you it's fucking 0. And if I gain 5, no, it won't be, but I'm just telling you, I will. So hold me to it.
Okay. I'll do the same. I will do the same.
I like having motivation.
Next topic, freeze drying. So when does your freeze dryer come?
About a month, I believe. I think.
Are you gonna try to do the sell candy to pay for it thing, or what are you gonna do there, or just using it for preservation?
Yeah, no, I would love to. I don't have the time to do that. I know I could, but for me, honestly, it's about meat, putting meat up for long term. I know not everybody's big into the long term, but I want to have, I have the short term taken care of. We normally have enough meat and food on hand for a year anyway. So I want to have, because it's so goddamn expensive to buy long-term stored proteins up here. So that's my next plan. And that's how I plan on paying for it, is figuring out how much it costs me and then subtracting it from whatever it cost me for a number 10 can or whatever of that. And I'm going to start putting it away. I might even buy one of we got talking about those canners, and now I'm kind of thinking I wouldn't mind having a canner. I know that's kind of weird. Not everybody's into them, but I like weird things. I think I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Get you a Presto canner.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I have.
You're talking about number 10 canner.
Yeah. I'm using the wrong term. I'm sorry. Like one of those that'll seal up the cans.
All American.
Yeah, I will check that out, because I love pressure canning. I've done that for years. Always enjoyed it. But this is the next step for us. Oh, sure. TheRealTimCook@gmail.com.
Every time I try to email you, it does not want to bring up, because I type Tim and it does not bring you up. I have to type the.
I should change.
Like, what's the weird word I have to type for Tim? I don't know why. There's probably a way for me to program that in there.
That's because the fake Tim Cook runs Apple computers, so that's why I'm the real Tim Cook. That's where that came from. But yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people freeze drying protein. Like Erin says, she's got processed chicken in the Instapot to freeze dry. Somebody actually approached me about if I was still renting access to my freeze dryer, because if I'm not using it, I've never actually rented it to anybody. And I said, well, why? Because right now, I don't have my freeze dryer in an air conditioned space. It's been too hot outside to run it. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm freezing things for when it's cooler out, or for when I finish the prepper pantry and I have it in an air conditioned space. And he told me what he wants is ground beef. He wants about 30 pounds of ground beef that he can take with him for long-term storage, because he's kind of a nomadic lifestyle. And so if you're driving from place to place to place, having the freeze-dried beef is great if you're looking to also have stability of storage. So So I'm going to do that for him. And I was just like, what I need you to do is pre-cook it, rinse it, get it frozen, no thicker than 3/4 of an inch, and have that ready to go. And then I'll let you know when you can start bringing it here, and we'll just start running it through the freeze dryer, and then we're good to go. But I think it's actually a way that a lot of people talk about freeze drying candy and making the money back. You totally can't, because people will buy that stuff like it's crack, because it is basically crack. It's so good. But the other thing is that you could rent access to your freeze dryer if you're not using it all the time. And, you say that on Facebook, and all the Karens come out of the woodwork telling you why you're going to kill somebody and food laws and blah, blah, blah. $20, you can run a batch through my freeze dryer. And it has to be prepared. And I'll even pull it out for you, because you don't know exactly when it's going to be done. And where I live, it's kind of a long drive, but you got to bring it pre-frozen or bring it ready to pre-freeze and do the prep work. And then $20, I'll do it. Like, how many times do you have to do that before you pay it off? A number, but you can just start chipping away at it in your downtime.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a good question. I didn't know. I wonder, Nicole, do you know? Or
what?
Anybody? Freeze dries better whole muscle or ground?
I don't know. That would be an Amanda question, probably.
Well, I mean, whole muscle, chicken breast is whole muscle. We freeze dried a bunch of whole chicken breasts, but they don't fit in cans or bags as well. I want to cook everything that we freeze dry, because we're putting it away more for in case. We have a chef that preps most of our meals, so we eat fresh all the time. So we don't really use a lot of freeze dried. So if we're going to freeze dry stuff, it's going to be cooked with the thought that fuel will be an issue in the future if we need that stuff. And the way I foresee using most of that stuff is putting it in soups or stews, with everything we can get, right? If we're eating that stuff, every scrap left on the plate will go into the next meal also. But it freeze-dried cut up, I think it freeze-dries a little bit faster than whole chicken breast, right? I think we've done some steaks too. But for the most part, if we are running the machine, we're running candy, which is highly profitable, or we are running cooked cubed chicken or hamburger, and it's all seasoned with taco seasoning.
Ooh.
So if you have eyeballs and you're already shipping merchandise, Tim, like we do 120 shirts every Monday, right? So we're going to ship on Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to ship 120 t-shirts. In that box, I can fit a 1 pound bag of gummy bears or freeze-dried Skittles, right? So that's a $10 extra upcharge for a dude that's already paying shipping on the box. It's a win-win. Like they're either going to buy 2 shirts or they're going to buy that candy. It always happens.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. For the record, about 3/4 of the comments that I've been posting on YouTube aren't coming through or not showing up. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I'm not ignoring people who have said things, but yeah, if Jason,
we are streaming to 2 channels at once.
I think that's what's going on. But anyway,
yeah. So it may be going. That's why I've been trying to highlight your comments so people.
Oh, it's fine.
I finally figured out how to post on this platform without looking like John, but then it doesn't go to his channel, so I can actually just post as me and then highlight my comment. So.
Well, after Jack kept talking about starring comments, I finally figured out how to do that.
Mark says rotisserie chickens from Sam's, less than $5 a chicken. I think I bought 10. I had a video a couple months ago, 10 from Walmart. And weird that the normal rotisserie chicken at Walmart costs $2 more than the lemon pepper chickens did. But I broke them all down and we freeze dried them, and they taste just like the rotisserie chicken does when it hits your tongue, except it sucks all the moisture out of it. You're making like chicken chips. But you can rehydrate them. We've rehydrated those. We've rehydrated several kinds of chicken and cooked it in with eggs. We've also used freeze-dried eggs and fed them to our employees, and not a single one of them said, "Hey, what's up with these eggs?" Nobody they didn't know.
Yeah, they don't. If you do the freeze-dried eggs right, they don't know. I did that at my workshop, not as a manipulation, but just because we ran out of fresh eggs and we got into the freeze-dried eggs. And they ended up mixing it, I think, 50-50. But people were like, really? Those are freeze-dried eggs today? I was like, yeah, well, I mean, I might as well use the bounty from here to feed people here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So the reason I don't know full muscle versus ground meat is I have freeze-dried 0 just meat. I've always, when I make a stew, which is a lot, because when you're eating keto, one of the things you can do is make a stew without any flour in it or any carbs in it, and it's actually delicious and it's easy to cook. When I have leftovers or a chili, I'll put those in, and then I have a ready to go meal for the road, because for me it's really nice to have a few bags of something I can eat in case I'm somewhere where there's nothing that I should eat. And so having it all spiced and ready to go, and I just pour a little water in, that is perfect. So I haven't done just solo meat stuff. Mostly I do milk and eggs. That's the most of what goes through my freeze dryer, because that's what I have the surplus of.
And
This year I did broccoli, though. That's something that was surprising. Like, I scored the rest of the crop of broccoli this year, and I freeze dried it without any salt or anything on it, and I tasted it, and I became instantly aware that I should have put like salt and garlic or salt and hot pepper on it, because it's like a chip, but it's broccoli, so it's not a chip. And I was like, oh, that would make really good road food.
But if you freeze dry broccoli, your entire house is going to smell like farts. You freeze dry shrimp or you freeze dry any fish, your entire house is going to smell like fish. And I mean, like, for a week. You're going to smell it every day when you come home, even after the fact. We freeze dried a bunch of cans, big cans of shredded chicken, right? Like canned chicken. The entire building smelled like tuna fish for almost a week and a half. After the fact, it was bagged up. Everything was put away. Everything was cleaned. We ran multiple loads of other stuff. The entire building smelled like tuna fish when we ran chicken, canned chicken.
Oh, man. So my freeze dryer is not in my house, so I don't know these things.
Yeah.
That's important to know. I'll add that to my freeze dryer class.
That's a great idea for the Sam's Club / Costco chickens. I wouldn't even have thought of that. We honestly, we have little Chihuahua dogs. We feed them almost exclusively rotisserie chicken because it's cheap and healthy for them, and they love it. I'll pick up 5 or 6 of them, bring them home. We debone them, put them in a bag in the fridge, and spoon it out. Put it on a plate for them, and they love it. And that's what's that? Sorry,
the cleanup's easy.
Oh, I guess it is.
Yeah, and by the time you travel with a rotisserie chicken and get home, it's already cooled off. Walmart's 15 minutes from the building to Walmart. So she'll bring rotisserie chickens home. I'll take 6 of them and just break them down and eat probably half of it while I'm doing it. Put them in a bowl, and then it just goes in the refrigerator. So we typically, for 2 or 3 days, have rotisserie chicken. And then when I'm hungry, I'll just eat a bunch of rotisserie chicken, or with an apple or with some pepperoni or something. I eat that pretty frequently. Easier than the rotisserie chickens to feed dogs, but you probably wouldn't do it because you have indoor animals. We feed our dogs rabbits, whole entire rabbits, but the cleanup, you would have blood everywhere, whereas we don't have that issue.
Yep.
Raw chicken, you can buy raw whole chickens, and your dogs can eat the chicken bone. They will chew the bone up, chew the marrow up, but then again, cleanup is an issue.
Yeah.
So I'm sure everybody knows this, but just talking about this, I fed a dog, one of my dogs, some meat out of a slow cooker one time that had a bone in it. I ended up killing my dog. So I felt like a bag of shit. It got in her guts, and anyway. So just remember that. I always share that story as often as I can because I wasn't thinking about it. It was a slow cooked roast. Put it down, and she ended up gnawing on the and it was a Chihuahua again, of course, right? But she gnawed on the bone, got a bunch of it in there, and it all got bound up in her guts. And so PSA for people out there who slow cook things.
So once bones are cooked, dog digestive systems can't do it unless you pressure cook them till they're mush.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Basically. So if you slow cook or something and you want to feed it to your animal, it has a bone, I would pressure cook it and make it into mush.
Raw bones are fine cooked or not because they splinter, right? When you hear about shards and stuff, that doesn't happen with raw, uncooked bone.
That's cool. Yeah. I just share my mistakes so people know because it's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's
like, so this one's, I thought chicken bones were bad for animals. It's only if they're cooked.
Yep.
And those are more splintery than beef ones. But I actually had my dog at the vet this week, first in the morning yesterday, because I gave her a piece of fish skin and she immediately started coughing. We're like, shit, there was a fish bone in there, right? And 2 days later, she was still coughing. So I brought her in at 8 a.m. I'm like, hey, I don't have my car for the day, but I'm dropping this dog because I think she has a bone stuck in her throat. And like, eventually that's going to swell up or something. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do. And they're like, well, can you leave her here all day? I'm like, sure. And then the doctor comes out. He's like, I'll see her right now if you can wait. I'm like, I can wait. She had an upper respiratory infection. There was no bone, but I was just like, man, fish bones, those can just like, So yeah, bones in dogs, not good. Not good. Raw bones are okay though, as you've said like 9 times. Okay, I got a question here, Starred. How do you guys approach business goals? Example, budgeting, growth in sales, and marketing plans. I'm in HVAC. I always like to hear how others approach their business practice.
I spend all my money until my bank account is negative, and I'm super motivated the next day to make some money. And I know you think that I say that as a joke, but there's probably half a dozen
No, I
times
100% believe you.
Like if you see me hustling, it's because I want something, right? If you see a bunch of new product, you see a bunch of new social media. When I don't post on social media, it's $3,000 less in sales. If I make no social media posts of gear, I make $3,000 less that day. If I make a post the next day, there is always an additional $3,000 to $5,000 of gear. So it is very important that I do that. If you see a lot of movement and a lot of, man, John's hustling, you know that I just bought something that I couldn't afford or should not have bought. And I don't, because I'm terrible about saving for things, because I impulse a lot of things.
I do too.
I'm terrible about saving towards something, because by the time I have it, I'm like, oh, this car is $200,000 that I want. And then if I have $200,000, I'm like, I'm not going to buy that fucking car. I'm going to buy another piece of property. So I just do it and commit to it and overextend it. And it's burn the boats. And a lot of people always have problems with that. And I think a lot of population in society can't or won't do that because they know they're weak. They will not do that, right? When I do something absolutely insane, I am always going to have the solution and hustle and make the money to compensate. And every time I do that, there's momentum on the backside, and we make a lot more money than we had. Because when I'm comfortable, I am complacent. And if I am comfortable, I'm a very, very lazy person, just naturally. So I get it. I have to commit to crazy shit. My guys ask pretty frequently, like, why are we doing this way? Like, we have a tractor. Why are we out here with shovels? I said, because we're doing this way. Because if you manage to stick around and be here in 5 years and you're telling the story, this is the way I want the story told. Because I'm the one paying the bill and I'm the one creating the story, and this is how we're going to do it. Now, when it's yours, you can do that. But if you want eyeballs and you want people to be interested, then you have to do shit in that manner. And it all equals money. And it allows me to do all the shit, and it allows me to do all the shit for my people and my people to do the things that they do because of the way we operate in that manner.
I get the most motivated when I'm doing something new. That's just the way my brain works. It's why I always, if you follow me, you'll see I'm always doing something fucking new, because that is what lights a fire under my ass. And when I was on the show the first time with you guys, I was in Daytona Beach and we were talking about it. And that hit me and stuck with me, John, about the burning the bridges and burning the boats, because I always tell people not to do that. I say, build up a nice, comfortable year or 6 months, whatever it happens to be, have that, but that's not what I did. I fucking walked away from a job with no income coming in and had to make it work. And you're right. I hate to tell people that, but God damn, that seems to be the way to get motivated is,
Do you know why you do that? Because I do the same thing too. People are like, what would you give me business advice, right? Because the guy asking that, he's not going to be able to do it. Because if he was able to do it, he would already be doing it. And we don't want his wife coming back and going, hey, you told my guy to quit his job and sell all his shit and light his boss's desk on fire. Go make it. And he did. And then he was so worried about it, he sat home for 3 more months, and now he's committed suicide. We don't want that on us. Right. People that can do that are typically going to do that. They've already done it.
Yep.
I think the only person I know who successfully transitioned from one job methodically into the next by saving up and doing all the right things is Jack Spirko. That's literally his story. He worked 2 jobs and transitioned out of the day job and into his podcast. But the day job he had was also very entrepreneurial to begin with.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and I used to give the advice to do that. And if you are the kind of person who can do that, you should do that. But when I think about my own story, it was the same thing. It was like, fuck, I got to sink or swim, and I guess I better swim now.
But with that said, Jack's story is not exactly that either. Jack went to them and said, hey, I am leaving. And they said, please give me another 6 months. And he did. And at 6 months, they said, please give me another 6 months. Jack was ready to go a year earlier.
Right. But he spent a year getting ready to go before that.
I mean, I worked 5 jobs. I worked multiple jobs starting until I finally had taken so much time off for gun shows and stuff. They fired me. When they fired me, I all of a sudden had to take my hobby business and actually pay bills with it. You know what happened? I made 3 times that much. If you included all of the income from everything, when they fired me, I made 3 times more that month.
I can say this. So I before we started today, I was telling Tim, my cash flow advisor, I have a friend who's been working with me on making more money because I want to make more money. And he broke my balls over a budget for about an hour last night on the phone, like going over after the fact, something like, how much money did you make? Why didn't you make much more money? Next time you do this, how do you make more money? And what I realized, and this is sort of how I approach things, I tend to be very project based, and I map out some of the communications in advance for marketing. And I have an idea of what the message is because that's my background. But the way I prioritize business development is I look retroactively at like what went well, what didn't go well financially. I'll be like, did I lose money on that? Did I make money on that? And the things I've made money on, I ask why and how can I make more?
Right.
That's where I've gotten to in the last few years is just like, okay, this barely broke even and it took a lot of time. How do we make more money next time? What add-ons could like John's candy? Like how do we add the Nicole sauce version of John's bag of candy to the same ship bag so that there's more income per sale or more income per project? And that's really helped me this year. And that guy he calls me every so often, every few months, and he will like literally say, you know, this event or this part of your coffee business, and he'll start just hammering me with questions. And I've now learned I have to have a spreadsheet for everything so I can look at it when he calls me and I can answer that question. It's been really good for me.
Is that John?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who it is because he's not anybody we know, but he's somebody you're going to meet. I will tell you when you meet him. He's really like what he does best is make money. Sometimes
you just need a guy removed to look at the stuff. I'm in a mastermind group. It costs $300 a week to be in that group. We do 1 hour. He does a live video and you can type just like we're typing here on the side, right? I gain something that makes me thousands of dollars every time I sit my ass right here at this table for 1 hour and listen to him talk, right? We know each other. I want access to him. I want more access to these people. I'm the lowest man on the totem pole in this thing. My buddy runs a heat and air business. He comes in here yesterday. I'm like, what are your membership levels on your YouTube channel? He's like, I have 5. It's $500 to be on level 5. Okay, what do we get for $500? He's like, you get 24-hour access to me. You have my phone number. You can call me. And it's more for like heat and air technicians, right? Samsung pays this kid a shit ton of money to drive in and do seminars on how to install new product. They don't even have new product. Like they're 50 to 60 months out on any commercial units right now. He's like, I have a request for quote. I have 40 quotes a day requesting new property projects. All these guys are selling these properties in New York, coming buying 100 acres, and they're building 9,000 square foot houses. Nobody can get AC units. He's like, I'm not even bidding those jobs. We are troubleshooting and making equipment continue to run when we can't get parts for it. That's the industry right now. Okay, so $500, his people have access to him about 18 hours a day. Hey, I got this problem. Here it is. Can you look at this? What should I do, right? That's worth a bunch of texts, giving him $500 a week or a month to have access to him. Level 4, what do you get for level 4? What does that cost? You have tons of people buying mini split units right now. Everybody feels that contractors are robbing them and putting them in. A mini split unit, depending on how many heads and the size and everything, $700,000, but guys are getting charged $2,000. I understand that because you want it done today. The price is $3,000. I understand that. But a lot of homeowners are putting in mini splits. So he has a program where you buy access to him and he will walk you through while you do your install. Any questions you have in that 24-hour period, you have access to him. What's that worth? $100? $200? There's always a way to make money. You just need somebody to, like, we bounce ideas off. And every time I talk to one of these guys, I'm like, holy shit, we should be doing exactly what I'm telling him to do. We should be doing also on our YouTube.
Yeah, I think every time I have taken, like, been sort of growing, and then step change, like where it just goes up, there has been somebody I talked to or somebody who, without me asking to mentor me, has mentored me. I've been mentored by so many people, and all I had to do was hear what they were saying and do something with it.
Yep.
And I think the thing that gets in people's ways is they don't hear. They're like, well, that's different than what I'm doing now, so it's wrong, or I can't. I can't themselves out of doing it. And if you just hear and then start taking a step and then take a second step, it's amazing what you can change. And I think it's just a lifelong journey. We've talked to people and they're like, here's a really simple idea that you never thought of. And you're like, damn, I wish I would have thought of that 10 years ago. And then you go do it and everything is easier because of it, or better.
And it's action. And when you start having that revenue come in, you're able to quit and free up a lot of other time, right? Well, I don't know if I want to take this task on because I'm already working 16 hours. I don't know if I want to work 18. If you can push through and work 18 hours for a few weeks or months and get that in place, you'll be amazed at all the minuscule bullshit you can stop doing, or you can hire. Like having a guy that cooks is enormous. Like when Josh came here, he's like, I'm going to be your chef. I'm like, I don't know if I can afford this guy. The money we paid him, and we paid him way more than he even asked for after being here a month or two, saved so much money being able to go in the kitchen and having a selection, right? I was eating 7 times a day, getting ready for a bodybuilding show. And Josh prepped I was eating 5 meals that were fish, but they don't taste like fish, right? He's a master chef. So just to have a dude for instance, right, to remove that from you and have those meals prepped, and we'd go out to dinner and he'd go because he wanted to see what I was ordering. He wanted to see what I enjoyed, what I didn't like. And to have that guy or have somebody that does that, even when from the tall view, you're like, I can't afford $2,000, or $3,000 or whatever. And then when he starts shopping, right, he starts going and shopping and going. He went to 5 butcher shops in Nashville every week. He went to 3, other grocery stores and stuff. So to have that dude, even with the big price tag that was kind of a shock at first, holy shit, your body changed rapidly, your enjoyment changed, and it really was not expensive when you were able to cut all that other stuff away and not have, and especially travel time when you would go eat, or prep time when you would make those meals. Like when I hired him, I'm like, I don't have a full-time job for a chef. That dude worked 14 hours a day here. Like it was a full-time, time and a half job.
Yeah, I want to highlight something here if I can find it. There we go. As the Crow Flies Homestead, quit drinking. And that's so. Do you know how many people's debt stories I hear? Like, I took control of my life and got out of debt, and where they start is they stopped drinking alcohol and buying alcohol, and that money savings changed and their energy changed, and that combination of two things really helped them take control. So good on both of you for doing that.
Awesome.
Yep.
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh no. Go ahead.
Fortress will be here. He's bringing a bigger setup than last time. He'll be here a couple days earlier. If you want to see these dogs that literally are like getting smacked by a missile, you want to see them climb ladders, you want to see them walk tight ropes, you want to see what the capability of these animals is, he will be here and he will be doing a much longer, larger demonstration than the last event. It's well worth coming to see these animals.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get him on a live before Self-Reliance Festival to talk a little bit more about what he has planned, but he's bringing part of his team here. He's going to be all set up and he's going to do a great job. I think he may be doing demos on and off through the whole thing. We have some time set aside for Fortress K9 to do the demos where there is not something also on the big stage, just so people, because we always have simultaneous things going on, but where he's going to be is kind of near the big stage. So we wanted to make sure there wouldn't be like crossover, and that, because I know last time his presentation was awesome and everybody's like, yeah, but we want to see the dogs work. And so this time we're going to see the dogs work.
One of the even cooler things for the guys that were there when it actually happened, we were all sitting around bullshitting inside with Drac, who does all the 3D printing stuff. And he was like, hey, I need this thing to fit this thing. And my guy started pulling it apart, right? We wanted to push to talk to where we could calm. So the dogs wear hearing protection, and the dogs wear goggles, and they wear a head, like a helmet, right? It's badass. But we couldn't make it work. So Drac took it apart, took a control board out of one of the Surefire flashlights. Now all of a sudden this thing exists, right? So how do we put this together? And it happened right there. Whereas, hey, call me. I'm like, no, that's bullshit. You guys are both here. Let's fucking do this right now. And it happened. Like it's done. It exists now.
I think that's what I always talk about. Like the power of being in person. If you put doers in person and you do something, things happen. Yeah. If you just talk about doing it, like we'll have a call next week.
Yeah, I don't have meetings. Like I'm definitely not going to have a meeting to have a meeting. That's why I don't talk on the phone, because you can tell me what the fuck you want in one sentence, and I can either ignore you or pass it to the other 3 people that'll make it happen. I don't understand. Let's have a meeting to have a meeting and have a call to plan. Like it's hard you notice I don't ever sit down when I do these videos. If I sit down, I fall asleep.
That would make an interesting video for everybody. John Willis falling asleep on live camera.
Yeah, I don't sit for very long.
Yeah. Cool.
As far as making space, you're talking about, freeing up to do other things. For us in my business, the more I focused on the things that made the most money and for the least amount of time, I started feeling lazy at first because I was making more money working less. So that's when I started launching my content creation, and I was able to fill in all that dead space with something that kind of got my brain going. And for anybody interested, I mean, not to talk too long about it, but it takes a while to build a content creation platform that actually makes you money. So, and you need to be committed to it for a year or two before you even start, But yeah, so I made $1,000 from YouTube and Amazon last month, and I was fucking proud of that. But that was all because I freed up enough time in my other business by making enough money from the things that took the least amount of time, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I love this comment by Life Done Free. I used to think it was money management, then it was time management. I now focus on energy management.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
When you break things down that you're doing to dollars per minute, it's a very different view, right? Everybody thinks they've made it when they made $1 million. $1 million isn't shit anymore. Like dudes are like, hey, what should I do with 10 grand? What should I invest in? You should invest in you. You should learn some skills that will make you more money. If you want to make $1 million, you need to know how much money you need to make every day to make $1 million. And then you need to break that down into hours. And then all the dumb shit you do through the day, like sitting for 40 minutes on the toilet with this thing. How much money did you just lose out of that $1 million while you were 17 minutes on the toilet looking at fucking TikTok, right? And when that's in your head, you view things very differently, very differently.
That's what I did my first couple of years. I figured out how much I needed to make every single day so that I could break 6 figures. And I think it took me 2 years to do it, but I got there. And you do, and you have it in mind. And then, like I said, we invested in other businesses, and it compounds after a while.
And then it's access, right? You need 1,000 true fans, followers, customers, clients, whatever we want to call them. But it has to be real, right? There has to be true value there. So once you have 1,000, well, they give you $5, right? $5,000 a month is more than most people in the United States have ever made in their life. So how can you scale that to $5 per week, right? How much more value to get $20,000 a week, right? And then you have, you have affiliate links and you have all these other things, but it all starts with an audience. And how do you get eyeballs? You have to do things that people are interested in. Whatever that is, they will come as long as you create content that's, not bullshit.
So many people want to short circuit that right there. They want to go, if you go on TikTok and you see all these, how to make $1 million with affiliate sales. All they want you to do is do the fucking affiliate sales, but you need, and not just, you need an audience, but it needs to be a community. And you need to give to those people because you want to, not because you want to make money off them. You want to build a community around it. And when you do that, then the support will come. Everybody wants to short circuit it, jump past it all, sell to some non-existent fucking audience that doesn't exist because I spent $300 on a masterclass course once that told me to sell affiliate links and do an online course, but you got no eyeballs to sell it to.
And half the masterclasses, you show up and it's, hey, do a masterclass, right? It's just fucking multi-level marketing.
It's a fucking pyramid scheme. It is 100%.
Yeah. And then access, right? How much value when you talk to a guy that is in a different business, but a successful business, it's having that guy not involved in your shit, looking at your shit. You have access to them, right? What value would that be to be able to have a 30-minute phone call or a 30-minute video conference with a person that is not here where all the eyes are, right? Where you can have true unhindered communication and you can say whatever you want without worried about being demonetized or throttled back or whatever, right? So to have that access, so once you have the eyeballs and you have the content and you have the audience, then to have that next level, right? They will monetize that. They will pay you for that time. It's about access.
And your time's worth it too for people. It is, and you need to know. Well, people need to know that. And I a lot of times, I always, I don't know. I call myself a drive-by encourager. I always try to, whenever I talk to somebody, find out what they're doing and encourage the hell out of them. And when people reach out to me and say, how do I start a content creation? How do I start a handyman? Well, I will take the time to email them back and send them a nice response. And if they, yes, exactly. And if they take action on that, fucking right, I'll help them again. But if they don't, I can't. I'm sorry. There's enough people that want, to find out what they should do next. But so many people ask. That's why I create a lot of these videos, because so many people ask, how do I do this? And I'm like, here's the video. And if they come back and they want more and they've done something with it, then go for it. Like I talk about Brian from the Lots Project. We first started talking about he started talking about putting together the Fireside Freedom. And you get that a lot. I probably had 24 people come to me around that same time saying, I want to build this. I want to build that. Well, fucking Brian's put his money where his mouth is. And he's put out 5 fucking podcasts every day of the, one podcast every day of the week, 5 days a week for the last solid year. And he's building a brand and he's building content, and it's awesome. But for every Brian, there's 20 people who email you and say, how do I do this? And that's the end of their response.
I know the Lots Project online, and I communicate with them. Amanda, until last night, I didn't know that I actually stood for hours and talked to him and his wife at the expo, right? Bald girl, unicycle. I'm like, holy shit, totally know who she is. I follow the St. Bernard dog Instagram.
Yeah.
And now she's been doing this earthing thing for 30 days where she's walked barefoot for the entire 30 days, right? But I didn't put that together that I actually knew them until 10 o'clock last night.
That's funny.
It happens, and people don't. There's another thing for consistent branding across social media, because I'll talk to somebody in one platform and they're like, it'll be so-and-so's name. And then later on I'll meet them and we'll be talking again. And they're like, oh, I'm like, just have your same. No, they're good at that. But that's one reason that a lot of times people fall through the cracks.
Yeah. I don't know why guys use different names all across all these platforms too. Like it's ridiculous. My buddy Bob, I think it was online or through maybe phone call with Tag from Life Done Free. I think they talked for an hour or something. He's like, Bob got back to me afterwards. He's like, holy shit, this is the most actionable things. Like, this has put us so much further forward than all of the other stuff combined by just communicating and getting in touch with Tag.
I think we should do a panel at Self-Reliance Festival about starting your content business or growing your content business, because we have so many people there who have done that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be down in a heartbeat. Love
Yeah,
it.
because I will do one on prepping, but we have room for another one. So
Sure.
I say maybe more than one, because that's something everybody asks about. And the hard truth is, if you're starting your content business this week, next month it is not probably paying your bills.
So
some rare person can do that with a lot of investment or a lot of luck, but next month it's not paying your bills.
The prepper homestead,
sorry, John.
Prepper homestead space is so focused on the world's ending. What should we buy? Because we're never going to be able to have it again. If you truly believe that, start something that will make you money, and then make a lot more money. It will make all that other shit easier. If it's accumulating number 10 cans, I got 50 of them in front of me here, Augustin Farm number 10 cans. If it's accumulating cans and you make an extra $5,000 this week or tomorrow, you can buy all those cans, right? If that's what you're looking at. But it all comes through, how do I do the job from the homestead, right? Start posting shit. How do I start a YouTube channel? You just fucking start making videos. They don't have to be good. Just make the videos, keep them private, send the links to a few random people, and see what they say. Build content everywhere. And then you're gonna, if you can do that bullshit for 15 minutes a day for a few months, you're gonna get to 1,000 fast if you say things that people want to hear.
And the production quality helps, and having thumbnails helps, and all of the things we talk about will help. Consistency, though, is the most important thing.
Okay, well, with that said, I have 700,000 people on my Facebook page. I never did any of that shit until maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Consistency, personality, and your message. Those are the three, get it out there. If it's something somebody clicks with and they like your personality, they're going to come back way quicker than they are because I have a TikTok ring light sitting right here that took the shine off my bald head. You know what I mean? Like that. But you start, and nobody's going to watch your shit when you start. That's just the nature of it. And then improve one thing every week, just a little bit. And you can't not get better at it. But it's a slog.
Tapping into the community is helpful too around you.
Oh, big time.
Like, you're the master of this. You're like, I'm going to get this person on and talk to that person. And that brings eyeballs to everybody, because we pass eyeballs back and forth at that point.
If you want to go viral, take the shit that you want to say that you think you're not allowed to say.
Hey, Gordon.
When you start saying those things, people will like them and people will dislike them, and they will share them for both reasons. And then the guys that like you, they will come and find out what you actually do and how to do business with you.
So this is Fred.
He's huge.
What is it?
It's a Cushaw squash, 21.4 pounds.
How long will that store?
It'll store till April in cold storage, like in my root cellar. But I picked that yesterday on live video. I actually dropped it because it was heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Do you have an actual root cellar?
I use my prepper pantry as a root cellar, which is half underground. So
awesome.
That stays in air conditioning until October and then goes into the root cellar. But yeah, it's that. But I did a little stupid 7-minute video picking that thing, and that I've gotten more comments on that stupid little 7-minute video than like things that are much more well thought out. I was just like, well, I have to prove that I really grow food, so we're gonna go pick a squash. That was it. That's the video.
Why I love TikTok, is it lets you, I do other random shit on there that I don't do on my YouTube channel, because that's one thing about YouTube is, to an extent, I almost want to say they penalize you, or it sets you back when you kind of step out of what your channel's been built on. So you kind of have, I know that's not the case for everybody, but I'm a tool review channel. So if I put up a video about, I don't know, like wood stoves or cooking something on a wood stove, they're not going to push the video, but I can do it on, my shorts, and I can talk about it on my podcast, and I can put it on TikTok, and that gives me that creative outlet for all that other stuff too.
Yeah. So our videos, when we put them up on YouTube, are automatically partially monetized. They have a yellow $sign instead of a green one.
Yep.
And when we look at the analytics over the last 90 days, our video view that had 10,000 views on it was fully monetized. And then all the others were yellow, and they only have 100, 200, 300, 1,000 views on them. I can dispute that and review it, and I have won every single review I've ever put up.
Me too.
But it takes 10 days to do it, and it's already out of the algorithm push. So whatever you were going to say that was relative, it's already out of the feed. They're not going to put it back in the propagation. It's never going to happen. And then when they do that partial monetization bullshit, they still make your viewers watch all the ads. You just don't get any of the click through on them.
Yep. 100%.
That's why I like Fountain FM.
I don't make my money on YouTube.
Yeah.
I make my money from people that watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, I got to say, when you're building something up front, the quickest way to make money, to motivate you to move it off the platforms is through those platforms, whether it's through YouTube ads, Amazon affiliate. That's what got, that's what wet my lips, that kept me motivated, because, I made $5 in my first year doing it, but it was the first $5 I ever fucking made. And then the next year I started making more money. But, it depends on how much of the game you want to play, but it's really good to get you motivated to develop your own system, your own way of making money.
Yeah, my primary ways of making money are not through any of the ads or any of those affiliate links. That's just extra.
Absolutely. But it is one of the quickest ways to start making money, to at least get you going. That's what I found so far.
Yeah, the reason I haven't, because I can see how I could make more money on YouTube ads, for example, now that I'm monetized. But if I concentrate on that, then I'm not concentrating on why people listen to me.
Right.
And I'm not going to let YouTube tell me what to say or what to do or how to do it.
For me, that's why I started my podcast, because that gives me that outlet. It's still live stream, but I don't run ads while it's running. It's there. And if something ever happens, I can always branch it off into its own channel, because that's why I need that outlet. I need that place for me, because for whatever reason, a tool review video is not the place to wax eloquent about anarchy and government. You can find that out from me by listening to me, and hopefully it'll bring you over to my podcast and all the other stuff. But, those tool review videos are there because I like to talk about DeWalt, and I like to drive people to affiliate sales, and people respect my opinion on what I think about tools.
I think we need an epic rap battle between you and John Willis, DeWalt versus Milwaukee.
The tool companies won't send you product to review either, and they won't give you affiliate links. Like, you're not going to get a Lowe's affiliate link if you're talking about collapse of society.
Exactly, John.
Affiliate link. Home Depot has an affiliate link. Tractor Supply does.
Yep. And that's kind of that's a hard line to figure out what you do with it. You know what I mean? It can be two separate businesses, and I guess that's kind of where I'm trying to head with it, is to have my outlet here, my outlet there, and if it catches up to me or whatever, I'll deal with it then. When you do
the tool reviews and you do a review, for instance, on DeWalt,
yep,
do you use Milwaukee's hashtags?
No. You think I should?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I don't own a Jeep truck. I don't care that people have them, but every time we do one, I use the Toyota hashtags and the Jeep hashtags, and dudes show up and fight, right? It's
sure. That makes
absolutely.
sense.
Absolutely.
John's the master of getting dudes to fight with each other in his comments.
No, guys are just pussies and inherently want to say some shit. And when you have a loyal following, the difference between those dudes is, if you snatched up 100 of those guys online and you drugged them and they all woke up in the same room like Saw, none of them would know what they have in common. If you snatched up 100 of my customers and we all woke up, 75% of us would recognize one another, because we actually know each other. And when you do, you don't have to fight that fight, which might get you unmonetized. The people with no financial interest will fight that fight for you, because they are loyal, because you have done right. They know you.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
I guess that's what it is to be a personality.
Put ourselves out there.
But I think it's beyond a personality if you actually know one another, if you have years of history. I think it's even beyond that. It's not that they can't come and see you or come to an event or actually, become friends or do business with you. Whereas on the other side, it's just some dude, rather than just slipping, scrolling past or hitting block, they want to say some negative shit.
A lot of people want to say some negative shit.
Because the negative shit's easy and the positive shit leads to action, and they don't want to act.
TikTok's horrible for that.
The best advice John Willis ever gave me, he doesn't know this, was a text message on Facebook where I asked him his opinion about a business decision I was making. And he said, "Why do you care about my opinion? You should just make your decision, Nicole. Do it or don't do it." I was like, he's right.
Was that the coffee thing?
It was something coffee related. I think I was trying to figure out how to scale.
I think it was the Kickstarter, which you launched going after 15,000 and closed at 30,000.
Yeah.
Yep. That was awesome. I was so proud.
It was the best. He was like, he's right. It's my fucking business. I'm responsible. I just need to make the decision and go. And stop asking people, like, stop wasting time asking opinions. That was also my buy the beans year.
Yep.
Still haven't made that t-shirt, but yeah. People are addicted to drama and junk. Yep. If it bleeds, it leads.
Sure does.
Good, yeah.
I just try to stay away from the shit. I really do. I don't have, whatever,
Yeah.
That's
why. So I've been reading this new, like, the Inflation Increasing Act. And, I'm interested in it because I want to know what its impact on my taxes is going to be personally, right? And regulatorily speaking, how's it going to hit the shipping industry and some other things that matter to me. So I started reading the text of it. And the reporting on it is completely like, it's all drama over here and all drama over there. And I'm reading the bill and I'm like, it doesn't say either of those two things. So yeah, the drama is not helpful. And the reporting on what's going on is also completely fucked.
I did that with, how everybody was so worried about the rolling blackouts and how we were going to overextend. So I just went and found the report and I read it and I did a podcast episode on it. And it wasn't, was it great? No, it wasn't, but it was a hell of a lot better than what everybody was picturing because all they could see was that one graphic where the whole center of the United States was red because we were going to completely exceed our capacity. And was it a possibility? Sure. But it's a report that's put out every single year, but this year it was grabbed and people ran with it. And
it's fun and it sells. It's fun and it sells, right?
Yeah.
So if you see, oh my God, my state's going to have rolling blackouts and I'm not going to have power half the time. Probably nice to have a big generator system. Probably be nice to have some portables. Probably nice to have some solar generators that are quiet, right? But most people can't afford that. You know how you could afford that? You could start your business and you could scale and not have to worry about any of that shit anymore. And then while you're amassing those things, you could build a media content company around those. And when you get a little bigger, those companies will give you all that shit to do reviews on them. And before you know it, you won't have to work that job that you don't really like working anymore. But it all requires action.
I am now starting a second review on Fridays for the stuff that companies have now sent me. That's become an issue, and it's stuff, companies that I respect, that I like, products that I've bought and recommended for the last while. So I'm pretty excited about that. And so, yeah, it happens. It absolutely does.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, so Darren from Hacks for the Homesteader told me this weekend, if you don't put that money in your pocket, someone else will. Sounded like something John would say.
I do say that. There's free money fucking everywhere. People are too lazy to go get it.
Yep. GB, you going to be at the festival? You should be at the festival. Self-Reliance Festival is going to be awesome. I haven't even rolled out all the speakers yet, you guys. You should keep your eyes out because we're rolling out a few every few days now. So,
hey, John, have you ever done product testing videos? So I picked when your wallet come in the mail, the first thing I thought is, I think I could fucking tow a truck with it. And so I was thinking, what I'd love to do is hang like a 20-pound weight off it and see if it held. Because I've never had a wallet that held like that. You know what I mean? Have you ever done shit like that?
So we took 2 of our belts at Camp Pendleton and we towed we hooked it to a Humvee and a 5-ton. And then we hooked the 5-ton to a 5-ton and we towed the 5-ton.
Nice.
Right? Years later, we duplicated that. We did the same thing at the range over here with 2 excursions, 4-wheel drive low, brand new tires. And the trucks are, we get down to Bedrock and it's smoking. My brand new tires that had less than 1,000 miles, it had grooved and cut half the tread off my tires. The belts didn't stop functioning. The belts held. Fast forward to maybe 5 years ago, my friend runs a repair place. It's a huge National Guard unit outside of Nashville. And they have M60 battle tanks there. And he hooked it to a crane and lifted with 2 of the belts. He lifted the M60 battle tank off of, not completely off the ground, but the front of the tank about 50% off of the ground with 2 of those belts. We took our tool bag and we filled it with gravel, and I have number 7 gravel, the bigger gravel out here,
Yep.
super sharp gravel. It's 38 pounds. We went on the back road back here with about 6 or 7 of us and 2 guys, 1 on each handle, and we threw them as high in the air as we could get them, and they would smash the ground. We went 0.6 of a mile before a piece of that gravel finally broke the zipper. The bag was fully still intact. All of our stitching was intact. The zipper failed. We've done that twice. Yeah, we used to take my LBVs and we would snap link them to a pull-up bar, and you'd have some smart ass kid come up, young Marines would come up and they're like, why does this rig cost $200? I go, well, you hang on these 2 pockets and you hang on these 2 pockets.
Right.
You guys do pull-ups, right? We would do the same thing with my mag pouches. We would give them to a Marine and I go, put your foot in the mag pouch and grab the lid and try to make it fail. They could never make it fail. And that was product that was just there for sale, right? It wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't some shit we sewed. It's literally how we build stuff still today.
That's all. Yeah, because what made me think of it, the other day I was in there and there was somebody busting your balls on TikTok about why your stuff was expensive. And I'm like, well, you're the wrong customer then. Have a nice day.
That's the same turd that said it was on the wallet. And he said, I don't like how your label's on the front of the wallet. I think that's cheesy. Well, the label's not on the front of the wallet.
No, it's not.
It's inside, under a window. If you don't like it, put a debit card or a credit card in there. You'll never see the label. But it's that complaining to complain, right? Because what he said wasn't even correct.
No.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, what product do you like that we make? And he goes, clearly I've hurt your feelings. I've already spent too much headspace. Block, you will never fucking take any of my fucking brainwave towards you again. It won't happen. You no longer have any access to anything that is my company's.
Yep.
I jumped in and,
you guys keep talking for a second. I'll be right back.
I jumped in because you have a customer or somebody who appreciates your product and they're the ones that are going to do your customer service for you or razz the,
Absolutely.
and that's what it is. But yeah, I can't get over. I just, when I opened it up, I took it and just pulled both ends just to see, cause it felt well built. And
you might have that plastic, you might get that clear window to fail.
Sure.
If you jam your finger into it, it'll definitely misshapen. But you're not going to get that edge tape and that Cordura. It's not going to fail.
People just don't make shit like that anymore, John. That's what blows me away. I didn't realize. Maybe this sounds stupid. I just didn't realize that quality was even out there anymore. Or, I mean, I knew it kind of was, but especially in fabrics or whatever it is that you use. Leather, I expected it, but in that kind of thing, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Our material will hold up better than leather will. Like if you did abrasion testing, my material will hold up better than leather. If you do stretch and tensile strength, I guess that's tensile. I don't know. If you were clamp and pull them, our material will hold up better than leather, depending on the size and weight of leather.
I love my belt, but
well,
what I love more
the tool apron,
the tool pouch. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been eyeing up some
tool
of that
apron.
stuff.
Yeah. Look, this little, what is that thing called? Tourniquet fits right in there. It's perfect. Fourth use for it. I keep thinking of different things. It's like you need a collection of them for different purposes.
I use drywall screws or decking screws to put shit together all the time, right? So I've got screws in there. I have J-clips for the rabbit cage pliers in there. The hog ring pliers. Bits and drivers, right? And different screw nut drivers as well as Phillips drivers and stuff. So that's what fits in there. I can put, small hand shovels in there when I'm in the row house. You can use that thing for all kinds of stuff.
Cool. Okay, well we're rounding the corner here, I think.
Yeah, we've been well over 2 hours today. It's been a
we
good
could just
day.
keep going, man.
Oh, I know. I can talk all day. I built another deck this weekend, just for the record. This one was 16 by 31. So
why don't you come out here and we'll sink a bunch of telephone poles and we'll build a stage and a pavilion
Oh, I would. Sure.
I think John needs one.
Yeah.
We do need one. We're
We
going to
also
put
need to level that building.
so the building needs to be leveled, and then we'll put the pavilion next to that building, like where that big, huge trailer is. We'll put it over for a stage.
You've got no rocks in your ground, right?
I do have rocks, but I have a high flow skid steer with augers.
Nice. Takes care of most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty lucky here. You don't ever hit a rock when you dig. It's crazy.
We have rocks. I mean, you drill your lines or whatever, and if you hit a big rock, then you move all of your lines over 12 inches.
Yeah.
Understood. I get it.
Yeah. Or you learn how to drill through them. We actually had a backhoe out here, and I had run a drain line funny, so it does like one of the Tennessee things where it goes meh, 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 meh. And then the backhoe was here, and Tactical's like, I wonder if that rock will move, and we were able to move it and straighten that line. It was a big moment.
Yeah.
So
everything will move with the proper equipment.
Yeah. So every so often we've moved some big rocks here this year. So, All right. Well, what do you guys want to say before we wrap up? John, you get to go first today.
I do a live feed at 9:00 on YouTube. If you want to have a conversation, it can be whatever you want. If you like what I say, just wait a few minutes. I'll probably say something you don't like. We have tons of merchandise and stuff. What really pays the bills is nylon tactical gear. We do all kinds of T-shirts. You usually see Nicole wear them. Jack wears them. Tim's got some of them. We do a shirt almost every single week. And you can find me anywhere. It's SOE Tactical Gear everywhere. You can find me on any platform.
Awesome. I'm going to let Tim wind up. So I'm going to say it's time to get your tickets for self-reliancefestival.com. That's October 1st and 2nd. Later today, we are launching a pre-Self-Reliance Festival class all about plant communities and planting swales, the Bonds, Billy Bond and William Bond. And I think Michelle Bond is going to be here. They're going to teach that Friday before. So that's an add-on, comes with lunch. I just need to run one more thing by Billy before we launch that. So that'll also be at self-reliancefestival.com. I recommend getting your tickets soon. Get them soon, because in the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden, they're starting to sell faster. And if you think you're coming and haven't gotten your ticket, you better get your ticket. Toolman Tim will be there speaking, as will a lot of people in the live feed. I saw Billy in the live feed. I saw Tag in the live feed. I saw, who else did I see? I saw Fortress K9 was in the live feed. A lot of people who were talking here, you're going to see. And the cool thing is we're doing presentations. We're doing demonstrations. But the best thing is we're doing connections. We've got 2 people dedicated to helping all of us connect. This time there'll be cards you can fill out that just talk about where you're from and who you want to meet. And they have some sort of plan to try to help people connect, because people will come to Camden, Tennessee, and they'll find themselves right next to somebody. They'll come from 3 states away and find themselves right next to somebody who lives in their town, who they didn't even know was there, with shared interests. And we've seen a lot of communities come out of that. We may even see some Self-Reliance Festival spinoffs in other part of the country, which I think will be awesome. And the other thing is, don't forget to get your coffee at Holler Roast, but get your tickets at self-reliancefestival.com.
Also, come into that class before the event. You're going to have maybe 60 to 100 people here, as opposed to 1,000. If you want to have one-on-one connections with these guys in town before they've been out in the sun for 2 days and before they've talked to 1,000 people, like, we hang out here in the building that evening, typically both nights, and there's some great conversations that are had that cannot be had on social media. So it's worth coming, even if you're like, I'm not ever planting swales, I'm not doing plant communities and guilds. It's worth coming, the price of admission, just to have one-on-one access to these guys before they're somewhat burnt out on Sunday.
And I can attest, as somebody who was never going to install aquaponics, I went to an aquaponics class anyway, and now all the aquaponics grows my food. So
it happens.
Tim, you get to wrap up today. I just thought it'd be fun to let you wrap up.
Sure. Yeah. So the Workshop Podcast, that's where you can find me. We live stream every Thursday, Saturday, Sunday evening, 7:00 Mountain Time. It's a great community. The Telegram group is where it's at. I think we got like 135 people in there. That is the place to go if you want to be motivated, a kick in the ass, and have some ideas for building your business. Absolutely. Yeah, I love the people over there. They're as motivating to me as I am to them. So come by, check that out. And I am launching the Patch of the Month Club, the tactical patch or the morale patch, whatever you want to call it. It is going to be officially live tomorrow. You'll be able to find it at patchofthemonth.co. That's going to be my way. There's going to be extra goodies behind that afterwards. There's going to be a portal with, access and new content and vendor discounts, that sort of thing. But this is where it's starting. People seem to love them. I know John loves them. And so this was my idea. It seems like a lot of interest in it. So I'm excited. Anyway, it's coming. It's going to be live tomorrow. That website might actually work now. I shouldn't say that, but I think it does. So anyway, it's another story for another day.
Don't break the website, everybody. Send them email saying there's a typo on page 3. Anyway, well, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you guys next week. I'm not going to tell you who it is, though. You'll have to